You remember the
cheddar
big
balls.
ass tubs of cheese balls that you could get at like Costco were
Dude, those
half
are
your
still a thing.
I
like
like
would
this.
go up to your waist if you were a child?
Those
Like
are
the
still a thing, dude.
If you ate a whole can of those things, you have cancer.
guaranteed.
Over.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 165. I am your host, Anthony Trapani. Got a couple resident homies with me tonight. Joseph is not going to be with us tonight, but Joel and Casey are with me. What up, y'all?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. And we are joined by an old school homie, part of the Cali Death scene, our Bay Area Cali Death scene for quite some time. We got Mica Meneke with us tonight. What's going on, dude?
Not too much, man. Good to see you guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of,
Good to be here.
Asunder. Soul Asunder's the band that I met you through, and you have a few other things, Origin and the Faceless that you've been involved with and stuff like that. So of course we would love to hang out with you tonight, dude. So I'm glad you're here.
Right on. Yeah, I'm glad you contacted me.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of
dude.
weird. It's like I told you, dude. I'm like, I haven't been really relevant in the scene for like 15 years, but yeah, definitely the old Cali scene, man. That was the shit.
And I was trying to reassure you too. It's like with that statement that you just had, it doesn't really matter about current relevance necessarily to get on this show or whatever.
Yeah.
It's literally our relationship that we've had from the past,
All right, so Anthony, what was the last show you played?
What was the last show I played? It was with fucking Severed back in 2012, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm not relevant.
so-
either.
Like, I think so you're more relevant than me, because I think the last show I played was Joel, like 2009, like the end, in a death metal band.
Death metal. Oh yeah. I did. Yeah, maybe a year after that. I did.
Yeah,
Or 2010.
No, you did like another tour after me.
I did Son of Aurelius too. A show or two with Son of Aurelius. Yeah.
So
Well-
really, we're just a bunch of non-relevant motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying
You
to
got
say.
that right in, man.
That's my whole point is we should all just end the stream
all
right
good.
now and go to bed.
No, that shit don't matter because this show is just
Okay.
about our people that we've met throughout our journey, and
We got stories, dude. It's cool.
we got stories,
Oh, yeah.
and that's what this thing's all about. Is these types of episodes where we're gonna bring an OG from the Cali Death scene on. We literally are obviously wanting to hear your story, what you're up to right now too, but of the stories, the Pound stories, the Aptos Club stories, all that stuff is also why this episode is happening. So I can't wait to get into that stuff for sure. I've been a kind of a silent voyeur of you in your recent times because we became friends within the last year or so on social, and I've been just watching you quietly and seeing how good you're doing right now. And that was another reason why I wanted to talk to you, because being a dad and seeing the steps you're taking to take care of yourself at this time in our life. It's not all dads do that, and I think that being a dad kind of pushes you to do that because you want to prolong your life and to be there for your kids as long as you can too. So
Oh hell yeah, man, and break the chains that like my family, alcoholism and mental illness and chaos for generations. So
right, dude.
It's breaking that chain. So my kids and my son especially doesn't have to ever see that shit.
That's what's up, dude.
Awesome.
And,
Awesome.
And I could obviously, with that statement, tells me that you're a fucking great dad, dude. Because you see what brought you here, and you're like, nah, I didn't like that too much. I want to take the initiative to make sure that I don't send it down the line further, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's rad, dude. And we'll get way more into that when we get through your timeline. Let's do some plugs real quick, guys. You know where it's at. Battleforgecoffee.com up at top. As always, that's the homies and deeds of flesh. Roasting some caffeine bean for you and packaging it up nicely with some swag as well over at battleforgecoffee.com. If you are underground death metal, if you own one Unique Leader release, you better be drinking this coffee. That's it. That's all I need to say. If you listen to the Unique Leader and you don't drink this coffee, you're a fucking poser. No, I'm just joking.
Speaking of you,
coming in
that's
real
a
quick.
unique leader.
What
That's
up?
a
We
unique
got
leader.
a quick, not a quick.
This is not about me at all. This is about this super strong mimosa for your Anthony.
Anthony,
Ooh.
please drink that.
About
Please.
90% of what you see
strong.
here is champagne.
Oh yeah, good. Yes, make him drink it.
It's yellow champagne.
The hint of color.
That's Micah's talking about alcoholism and the bloodline constantly. I'm like, no, it's all good.
I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry.
Mike is Unique Leader. That is correct.
He
We
is
are all
a.
Unique Leader in a sense. Not yet. Now after this mimosa, maybe.
Well,
it'll be
now it's a challenge, dude. Now it's a challenge.
But yeah. What else we got? We got generatorrehearsalstudios.com.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
go buy yourself a rehearsal studio.
Go buy yourself a rehearsal studio over
Just
there.
buy-
Generate one.
You
buy
get it
it.
online.
Generate it.
Can like order it online.
Generate
It's,
rehearsal studios there.
This generated place to practice. Yeah. Oceanside,
Yeah.
California.
What's up, Ian?
Sick dude.
Wait.
Ian's in the chat. What up, dude?
Oh, hello.
Oh, Ian.
What we got?
Ooh.
I want Mike to at some point come in here and talk a little bit about his weekend. We'll try and coerce him.
Tonight,
What-
this is not about me tonight. This is
That's
about you.
That's very
What are
true.
you talking about? What happened?
No,
That's
I
what
know.
we're talking
No, it's not. That's steered away from Micah yet. But I
Okay,
do
okay, all right.
at some point,
We'll come
maybe
back.
later on down
Okay.
tonight, we'll.
We'll harken back to that at some point.
Just,
Harkin. I
uh,
need to use Harkin more.
All right,
I
here we
didn't
go.
take my vitamins
So,
this morning, so I need some
You
vitamins.
guys, 1, 2, 3, boom. Here we are.
All right. What's the other shit that we do on plugs? I forget. No, not a live bagging.
Sorry, I'm just clicking random banners.
Live
And you put it on microphone. I'm like, what else? Put us back into the Brady Bunch shit for a second before I finish this.
That's me. That's my fault. Sorry. Take
That's all good. Joseph isn't here. He usually
Joseph
last
is a
Lucy
traitor.
and Joseph shit. Just go to Joseph stuff. He's always playing shows. And Micah, is there anything you want people to check out? You know, how can we? I had a hard time finding some Soul Asunder stuff online. Is there a place that I wasn't going to that I should have been?
you know what? I really have no idea. Like Chaz pretty much used to cover all that end of stuff. I know there's some stuff on YouTube. But yeah, I'm really not sure. Dude, I just got into listening to like digital music. I was like on CDs up to about 1.5 years ago. So I'm old school in that sense.
That's respectable, man. That's one of those things where, you know, it's nowadays we're with such easy fucking access to everything. And actually, I wish I was that like stuck in my ways that I would just stick to CDs, because that to me that like still has we've talked about it a million times on the podcast, but just like having those, you know, physical copies, blah blah blah, but like actually going out and having to find it, and like I know with metal and stuff, especially like if you know some people that listen to metal a lot, like it's one of those things where they're going to tell you what to if they're going to listen to it immediately and tell you. Now it's not one of those things where you used to be able to go to the store, get a CD and be like, dude, you guys heard this before? And they're like, yeah, I heard it like the second it came out at midnight. I heard it.
Well, there's also like the thing about like collecting records and stuff. Like, and I was like thinking about this, like I was like had this like little epiphany. I was like, oh, dude, it was all about like with the punk records and stuff, like old 7 inches of like, you know, like my friends would collect like a lot of that stuff, like crass record shit or whatever, like, you know, like from England, these like little 7 inches, and it was like, oh, this was released da 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 da, and this was, and they'd have these like original pressings. It was just like, oh, original pressings of these. This was like originally pressed in
David
like
and Josh
1980.
definitely
Yeah,
made
you
me
know, it's like,
think about collecting records.
and some of those sell for like a lot, like not like compared to Beanie Babies, but it's like, I don't know, like online, like it sells for a lot. Like it's not like that much, but
date yourself a little bit more, dude.
yeah. But I mean, it's like this whole like, okay, like you have these like physical, but it's like all about the vinyls, and they're like these original pressings, like 7 inches and different things, and these like, oh, that one's 7 inches, and that's like, that one's extra rare, so like this one's more because it was like only this release, and of course that transcends into different like other like music and stuff, but like I don't know, it's like that would never be like digital.
It was all about getting the record. It was the artwork, like the liner notes, the thanks, the lyrics, and then you had that one CD. It was like I'd listen to that shit on repeat, learn every word, delve into it. I think now, like my daughter's just getting into heavy metal. She's 14. I took her to her first show, Behemoth, recently.
Nice.
It was awesome to see. I haven't seen her light up like that since she was a little girl.
Wow.
But like, yeah, it's just, she just tosses through. Like, I checked this out, didn't like it, moved on. It's like, I don't know, there's an element missing. Like, I just got so into them. Like I said, I put them on repeat. I go to sleep to records, you know. I get Morbid Angel Covenant. My dad would have to come in at 6 a.m. and turn off the CD player.
Hell yeah.
Repeat.
It's the instant gratification thing.
Yeah,
that's what it is. We didn't have the instant gratification. It was delayed gratification.
Yeah,
and it wasn't guaranteed gratification either.
Right?
Because you said you had to go out and find it. Joel was saying you got to find it. There was so many different times that I would go to Amoeba or Streetlight or Rasputin or one of these places where I had a goal. I had a list of albums that I was looking for. I had it written down by hand in my pocket, and I would flip that shit out while I was flipping through every single CD in the metal section or in the hip hop section, in the rock section, in the jazz. I would spend 2 hours in Amoeba was like heaven to me, dude. I would just, there was kind of like a Zen kind of meditative situation that was happening when you're flipping through these rows of records or CDs, waiting for either the one thing that you're looking for to pop up or something that you weren't expecting. And all of a sudden it's there, you know, and you're holding it in your hand, like finding a Lethargy record in Rasputin for $5 in the $5 bin. And I look around in that place. I'm like, to me, I just found a treasure. I just literally was digging through sand and found a treasure box, dude. And that feeling, it's harder to come by unless you go to discogs.com and you search through that stuff. But anything that's on, you know, all the streaming platforms, it's just there and ready to go. So with the Soul Asunder thing, I kind of was like, oh shit, dude, I can't really find too many stuff. I could find music videos, I could find live performances, but as far as recordings, it's kind of harder to find. But it was this band that was in our era of playing. Soul Asunder was just as, you know, top shelf as all the other bands that were at our level too. When Soul Asunder was on stage, I would pay attention, you know, because you guys were doing it just like we were doing it. And you had Nate, and you had this melodic death metal, kind of Meshuggah, somewhat influenced type mellow death that was happening. And it was like on those bills that would be you know, a different type of band each set. A Soul Asunder set in wedged in between all of that was a nice palate cleanser. It was a nice breath of fresh air in between, you know, what could be more chaos around that. Even though Soul Asunder was chaotic, you guys were organized chaos, you know.
Good way to put it. You know, I think Soul Asunder was, I don't know, maybe just ahead of its time or something. You know, we used to play shows all the time up in the Bay Area, and people who'd never seen us would come up like, why aren't you guys signed? Why aren't you fucking huge? Da da da. And I'm like, I don't know, sign us. Like,
yeah.
I don't fucking know. We want to be.
Yeah, and it was like I had said, dude. It was a band that would make me pay attention. So, but I mean, a band like that doesn't necessarily need to be signed. It needs to be. It could be DIY, driven by you guys, but also life gets in the way of doing something DIY. So it's harder for guys who are making nothing anyways.
At that time. That was like nowadays that's
$150 opening.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as like DIY shit, like now, it's more of a doable thing. With like social media was just starting out. Like it was like MySpace and like Facebook maybe was around back in those times. So there was bands that just exploded on those platforms.
I mean, sorry, it just ties back into that instant gratification. It is easier because of that instant gratification. It's so widely available now.
Totally, exactly. Yep, it's one. I mean,
I didn't mean to derail you, dude. Sorry.
Well, that used to be our whole goal was to get signed. I mean, at that time, there was no other way. Like, there was not. I can't think of like a successful band in that genre during those times that made it without successful.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe shredding, but I don't know about successful. But I mean, because we had to tell everyone about it, like personally. That wasn't like no one came up to us like, "You ever heard of Pavor?" It was never a thing I ever heard. It was encountered. We knew about Pavor. That's about the extent of that.
When the DIY to a band at that time, they didn't.
And they had Bethlehem too. They had like other bands that they like were already in. That was kind of like already, they were signed, right? Bethlehem and stuff like that. They
already had contract.
But yeah, like back in the day, it was like. It was you literally had to like get signed. That was your only unless you want to start your own label. Like,
it's the only way to be distributed.
Yeah, like, exactly.
How we didn't. I still don't know, or I shouldn't say I don't know. I still don't use the internet like I should. And back then, I definitely didn't use it like I should. I was searching, pixelated porn pictures and Cannibal Corpse demos.
Here it comes.
That's literally what I was looking for. Is just and now, I don't know. It's just it's totally different. The internet has just made it to where everything is accessible, and it's gonna get quicker, guys. I don't want to get into that conversation, but that's just going to get quicker and quicker. My kids,
get your Neuralink. He'll just be like,
my
like,
kids,
that album came out.
I'm going to be the crazy grandpa that's like, kids, don't inject things into your brain, please.
yeah. That's going to be they're going to be like, you're crazy, dude. Grandpa doesn't want to fucking have us inject like chips in our brain. What a fucking he's stuck in the mud, dude. Dude's like super conservative. He can't get over his like ways, dude. He he just wants to dig holes or something. He doesn't want chips in his brain. They're gonna like come down on you like you're some like fucking just you're a human anchor just stuck in the time. Yeah. Shit. But one comment I want to make about Mica too is it's really cool to see you're like, I'm out of the death metal thing, or it's been a long time, but you still got then that's the defining thing that when I first met you a long time ago.
The defining physical characteristic of Mica. He's always had that.
Yeah, so I cut him off when I moved up here to Mount Shasta after I left Oregon, grew him back out, and then I had to cut him for work, which was the first time I had ever cut any hair or done anything for work
for a job
in my life. But that's when I started working for my uncle, becoming a jeweler, which is where I'm at now. I actually just took over here. My uncle just retired, so I'm the master.
I definitely wanted to get into that, dude. For sure.
But yeah, I ended up growing these suckers back out. I started my own jewelry shop for about a year, and I was like, fuck it, now I can do whatever I want. When I came back over here, I knew they needed me, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this. This is who I am, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
that's the Mica. For me, it's the Mica. Every time I've seen other people that have tried to pull it off, but I'm like, since I was a kid, I saw you doing that. So it's like, to me, it's like, well, this guy did it way before you, like 25 years ago, 20. I'm just like, yeah, exactly. And yeah, every time I see that, it reminds me of you. I've seen it more than 10 times since we've last talked. You know, the person that's just trying to rock it, one's uneven and shit, and I'm like,
the access is off. It's like your camera's shot tonight, Joel. I don't know what it's doing.
I think it's my internet.
Well, we can still hear you, so it's all good. I mean, you're not crazy blurry. It just changes.
No, I can see it. I'm watching it on the Instagram. Looks pretty shitty.
It's all good. Let's dig into the past, Mica. We always do this on the show. We like to know what childhood was like for our guests, and just take us through. I still do. The question is basically when music or art. It used to be just music, but now I just want to know, when did creativity come into your life? What's the earliest memory you could think of? It could be influenced by your parents listening to some music in the living room and a guitar lick or a vocal thing.
Yeah, well, for me, dude, it was never like, I didn't have music around. My brothers were way older, so I didn't have like older brother introduce me to music, so I wasn't really into any of that. But really early on, I loved to draw. I used to get in a lot of trouble in middle school because my math homework would be like covered in demons and inverted crosses and like mushrooms and just chaos. It couldn't even, see what the work was.
Yeah.
So I was drawing at a very young age. My dad was a pretty awesome artist, probably where that came from. And, in middle school, everybody was listening to hip hop and rap. So I kind of listened to that shit, but never really got into it. And then went through a phase of lots of, taking lots of hallucinogens and was listening to, Doors and Pink Floyd, stuff like that. But nothing was ever like, music wasn't part of my life. And then I started hanging out.
Wait, drawing though. Let's take it back to drawing. So when did you what age was it where you can remember because my middle, Dominic, he's about to be 8. And as a thing to combat boredom, that is in his arsenal still, where he can just sit down with a piece of paper and draw something, or I'll find him a video on YouTube where it's how to draw this, and he'll sit there and literally focus, dude, and it makes me so happy.
Hell yeah.
It's very hard to, see that type of focus in a kid that doesn't have a screen in front of their face, Yeah.
And
so,
I was doing that stuff, man. Yeah. Inspire them to keep doing that stuff.
And as a vocalist, that's kind of like, I'm already liking your beginnings because it's my beginnings. My thing was also art too. So I'm just thinking of, I remember being, 6 and drawing my toys. I'd set my toys up. Instead of playing with my toys, I would set them up in certain ways to where I can draw them and then draw them again to get better at it, to where I could draw a troll or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle just off the dome,
Yeah. And even before that, I guess, like, I don't know, 3rd, 4th grade, dude, we were still doing art in school. So like playing with clay, I create all these like figures and stuff. I created this thing called Peng Force. It was like G.I. Joes, but they were all penguins, like tanks and shit. And other kids would start trying to, emulate that stuff. And
that's awesome.
So I've always been creative.
Sick.
That was my problem with school. As soon as I started getting to middle school, art became less of a thing about learning. And so my mind started to turn off to fucking learning anything. My brain just didn't work that way.
Right.
You know, and so I just kind of started shutting down. Yeah, by 6th grade, I started shutting down. I just wanted to do art.
That's so crazy that you're literally telling my story right now, dude. It was at that time too in 6th grade where I remember my first report card of 6th grade was all A's and a B plus, and it declined soon after that, and all I really cared about was getting creative.
Yeah.
What up, dude? Dude, you already served me a drink. Now you're serving me dinner.
Oh,
Dude,
my
this.
God.
Drinks and
What
dinner.
we have here
Yeah,
is called jazz on a plate.
it is.
Oh my
It is.
God, dude.
And pan-seared chicken with a seasoning from Tennessee called special shit. Literally, that's what it says on the jar.
And I'll attest, special shit is good. Special shit.
These are
Good shit.
purple and what are those other tiny creamer potatoes that have been handmade into mashed
Yukon?
potatoes?
Oh.
No, not Yukon Gold, the smaller ones.
Wait, are we having another debate? Wait, didn't
No.
we already have a potato debate on this?
We did, but
Rustic.
we're not doing it anymore. That we cleared it up last time.
I cleared it up.
And the gravy is a handmade
Ian with the
home
fingerlings.
gravy that
Fingerlings?
is
No,
Wow.
I don't know. Ian was coming in with-
shallots and onions caramelized
Dude, it smells
and
amazing.
mixed in with some special shit.
This literally
and-
smells amazing.
Hello, Brandon. How are you?
Dude,
And before I stab
Mike,
you with this knife, here.
dude, this is amazing, brother. Thank you.
Okay, we have no idea how good it is because you're the fucking guinea pig.
Guinea pig. It looks and
You're the
smells
guinea
amazing,
pig.
so
Anthony
So,
is
I hope you enjoy it.
I'm gonna enjoy it right now.
Have a pleasant evening, everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
geez.
see you again tonight. I'm gonna make you come back in here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come back. Yeah,
All right, guys. I'm sorry. This was amazing. I'm gonna eat this at some point right now. All right, where were we at? I got derailed.
So yeah. Talking about going downhill after.
Oh
just
yeah.
wanted to be
So yeah,
creative,
once
wanted
middle
to be
school
creative,
happens,
right?
it was all about art and
Yeah.
probably chasing tail too, right?
No.
So,
Yeah. But
all right. So, but art was still there. It never left. You didn't.
oh no,
Yeah.
not at all. I've always been so it went from all that and started getting into heavy metal from a couple buddies. My old bass player from my original band, Legion Victorious, started getting me into heavy metal. And I think that's where music finally started clicking for
Do
me.
you remember a first song or album or something that made you be
man,
like, what the fuck is this?
You know, Slayer hit for me, Morbid Angel, Covenant. That was a big one. But what sealed the deal? So I was just getting into heavy metal and starting to think about being a vocalist because a couple buddies had, they're trying to form a band. And in '94, I went up and saw Slayer at the Santa Cruz Civic Auditorium. And that sealed the deal, dude. I was like, I want to do that the rest of my fucking life. It literally changed the trajectory of my whole entire life, was that show.
Isn't that rad that it's just like one moment?
Yeah. Oh, just instantly, like
right.
the energy, getting in the mosh pit for the first time. Like it literally, like I said, changed the trajectory of my life completely.
So then you come home from that show. What's your first order of business to move in that direction?
Would have been after that, forming a band with my buddy Gator, who ended up going to play bass for Vital Remains. Though they've been on a hiatus for a while. But me and Gator and my buddy Jeff formed Legion Victorious, and we lived in Monterey, Carmel Valley, and then we played out in this place called Cachao, which was like the boonies, all a bunch of cowboys, and here we are, blasting just pure satanic death metal, no drummer, but we just kept playing and playing until we finally hooked up with the one drummer in our area who could, play double bass and actually, play what we were wanting to play, because nobody was playing anything like that around there, at least not in Monterey.
Dude, tell me how it felt like, because starting as a band without a drummer, doing your jam sessions and all that stuff, and then you finally get the drummer in there. What was that night like, or day, or however you guys got your jam session with the dude, to hear a drummer with whatever you got? Because if you were getting together a bunch and doing these things together, you guys kind of already had a vision, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And then to see it come to fruition, it's got to be it's a great feeling.
Oh yeah, it was exactly what we wanted. I mean, we've been playing probably a couple years. We basically, Gator was our drums, the bass. That was our low end, was what we followed. And yeah, once we got drums, it was on. The only problem was we, living in Monterey is like jazz and blues town. There had been some local metal bands, but nobody had really broken out like a scene in that area. So we just kind of had to forge the way. We got, started getting shows in downtown Monterey. And then all of a sudden, all these other bands started, popping out of the woodwork. We hooked up with some other bands, this band Liquid 8, Retribution, bunch of old school kind of metalheads who had tried doing the metal scene in the past. And this, kind of huge scene broke out for a while.
Yeah, I never actually heard about a Monterey scene. I love to visit Monterey.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Aquarium and
where would you play? What
just
venues?
Downtown Monterey. There was this one club, Vivas. We got in. We played a show downtown, packed the fucking house. They were a little skeptical having a heavy metal band, but packed the house. They sold a shit ton of booze because our fans love to fucking drink. We love to fucking drink. And so they started just, bringing us back. And like I said, then all of a sudden, all these bands, because again, you didn't have the internet. You didn't know there was all these people doing stuff in their garages down the street or in the next town over. And so once the word got out, like all these bands started showing up and wanting to hop on and, setting up more shows. And
what's Monterey from Santa Cruz? Another hour?
About an hour.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a 30. Santa Cruz probably 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes.
But, and it's weird. Like the Soul Asunder days were amazing, Origin, getting to finally actually tour outside of the States and all that kind of shit was amazing. But dude, that time, the Monterey metal days, dude, even though nobody outside of our areas knew anything about it, it was like living the rock star lifestyle. I mean, just party, women, drugs, just fucking,
drugs in Monterey.
It was fucking raging.
Dude, if you heard it here first, Monterey metal, dude.
Yeah.
Monterey metal.
You never heard this? It works.
It's Monterey's Meneke from Monterey.
Monterey metal
from Monterey.
No, I mean for from the Monterey metal scene.
I mean, it's for me, Monterey. I actually like a lot more than Santa Cruz. If I were to have to choose, if there was, Santa Cruz is like, like 100% now. But even, back then a little bit, like it's a nice place. But there was no place for metal.
You still got, you got a sticky switch, dude.
Is it still sticking?
Yeah.
He's not that bad. He's better than he was. I just think that everybody walking around in Monterey is like wearing boat
Someone's
shoes.
downloading porn over there.
And it was, dude. It was it was hard. It was hard to do, but we had to forge our way, dude. I remember walking around streets and we'd pay 75 cents to open up a thing for newspapers, and we'd slide our flyers in each newspaper and shit.
Nice.
Close it up and go store to store, slide them under people's doors, and everything we could.
That's rad, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a fun time.
To be an outcast in a area of the world like that, you know. But metal is this bubble that no matter what, it's gonna have its hands in every area of the world pretty much. So you guys just kind of making sure that there's some kind of thriving thing going on, it naturally would attract the people who are yearning for a piece of that little bubble that they want to be a part of because they discovered Slayer, Metallica,
Right.
you know, Pantera, Morbid Angel, all this kind of stuff. And but they, you know, they only have their close knit friend group that they discover that stuff or learn that stuff together. And when you have your friend group, then that gets to a certain point where we're like, we need to find more humans that are like minded, you know. And if you can't find them, put up a beacon to where it's like we're over here, guys.
Right.
Come on, like literally telling people this is where the bubble is, dude. You're welcome over here, and they found their way, and that's crazy to think that. Yeah, like we were saying, never would have thought that there was a scene in Monterey, but that only being 45 minutes from Santa Cruz, people hear Santa Cruz and it's actually, I thought that was a surfer town.
Right.
You know?
You got to hear that fucking Carmel, a Big Sur scene, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking
out in the woods, dude.
Well, like I said, you know, Monterey is known for the blues and the jazz, the Monterey Pop Festival.
That's oh yeah.
You know,
Monterey Jazz.
Yeah, like Hendrix and stuff. Like one of his most famous like performances in Monterey, and Bob Marley,
Janis Joplin,
Janis Joplin. Yeah, like the biggest. Like
I didn't know Bob
shit.
Marley. He played Monterey too.
Yep. My dad met him there actually at the Monterey Reggae Festival.
165 episodes in, I never knew your dad met Bob Marley. Come on, dude.
My dad was like, "Fuck that guy."
That's probably why we haven't talked about it.
No, he just was like, I don't know. My dad was like, he was just so fucked up, and my dad was like, "Sick, dude. Good to meet you." He's like,
oh, Bob
just kind of like blew him off a little bit. And just So my dad, you know, you hold that to heart. Like my dad met, you know, what's the god damn it? A classic rock band, Steppenwolf. Like he was all about them, but like when he met them, he was like, God damn it. Well, let's move on.
There's nothing worse than meeting somebody like you're way into and they're just fucking total asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a thing like that with Glenn Benton. I went to so I knew Snake from Skin Lab. He was doing some of my tattoos. He did some of my tattoos and shit.
Snake the guitar player, or is he the singer?
He was a bass player.
Bass player, singer,
I think, or guitar player.
Okay. Because I meant the singer.
Anyway, yeah. So he had the long dreads, and so anyway, he was going to be tattooing Amon Amarth, who was opening up for Deicide at the Pound in San Francisco, and so he got me on Deicide's guest list, and so I got to hang out backstage and chilling back there, and you know, Glenn Benton comes walking up. I had a few friends back there, my girlfriend Rachel at the time, and Glenn comes out. He's got this big bottle of Jack Daniels, and I'm like, dude, let me get a sip of that. And he's like, I don't need your mouth herpes, you know. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, big fan. He's like, yeah, just blow it up my ass. I was like, dude, you know, that shit hurt. I was like,
yep.
You know, I fucking idolized his vocals. I emulated that shit.
Totally. Yeah. And he would have just like, he would have blown you away. You would never forgot if he was like, fuck yeah, brother. Like, gave you a shot. You would have been like forever like in debt. And that's one of those things where some of those guys are just kind of, especially alcohol too on tour. Like you notice a lot of these bands get kind of weird. They're like it's
kind of hoarders with it, you're saying?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But then like they'll play and they'll fucking pour it in people's mouths on stage.
That's exactly what he did when he walked out on stage. He started giving everybody shots and taking shots. And I was like,
yeah.
Well, I guess I mean, if you to meet the hero that is a dick, that's definitely a possibility. But there's also the heroes that are actually the same person on stage
Yeah.
on and off, and
Oh, definitely.
Casey, Joel, and you probably have an example of that too. And I'm just trying to bring positivity into it, but there's the duality of the situation. And yes, you dig deep enough into the rabbit hole of heroes, you're eventually going to find a sour grape,
Right.
and it's just going to happen. So, I mean, it's cool to meet your heroes, but just proceed with caution, because you might find one that isn't the person you think it is.
Also, they're getting hammered.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
some people are
you
that
know,
different when they're
they
hammered.
could have been up for 3 days on their third show,
Yeah.
Rough life.
Some other bad shit. Yeah. When I was like back in the day, I was doing like customer service and shit. I remember like they would always send me in, like back when I was younger, they would send me in on people that were yelling and screaming, and I would be the person to go like mediate. But usually what would happen was, what usually would happen is like I would talk to them for a second. They're like, "Oh, dude, my wife died yesterday." Something crazy, and then you're like, "Oh shit, dude. Okay, well, this is where this is all coming from. It's not like you're a dick to everyone. It's like today you just caught someone on a weird day. It's like they're not telling you, and they're not understanding why they're being dicks. They're just.
But you also got enough that have quite a few of those stories that you kind of can just use your common sense to say, hey, that person kind of is just somebody not to fuck with, leave them be, dude. Let it look at the art more,
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, all right, so we were at I know you kind of got into like playing with bands and shit already, but I kind of want to know, I want to rewind again as a vocalist. I just want to know your influence to start doing vocals, and when or if did poetry ever piggyback your art, because that's kind of where I started to transition into the vocals, is getting into poetry and then looking at that as just another way of being creative, dude, using the language as a canvas.
For me, well, the first band I was backup vocals, actually. Gator was bass and vocals. So really my vocal career started when I ended up joining meeting Chaz and joining up with Asunder.
So that was, but was that what was it wanting to join the group what made you want to become a vocalist, or did you already have that in your mind that I want to be a vocalist, and then that opportunity came?
No, it was the opportunity. I didn't want to be the guy up in front of everybody. That was not my, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't ever the guy's like, look at me, I want to be the center of fucking attention. So it was the opportunity. And like I said, I had done some backup vocals. I'd always screaming to, CDs and stuff I listened to, bands I listened to and stuff, but it was more the opportunity that drew me into it.
Was there any time at that point where you wanted to start playing instruments too? Did you get a guitar? Did you play?
So I had, like I said, with Legion Victorious before Soul Asunder, I was a guitar and backup vocal. So
okay, so let's dig into the guitar past a little bit though. Like when did you? What was your drive to play, and when did you get the first guitar? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that happened. Shit, man, all fuzzy. So we had Gator was jamming with a couple buddies, a couple guitar players. One, I think, got sent off to rehab or something, and I can't remember. This guitar player Nate, who was phenomenal. I mean, he was the kind of dude who you go into his bedroom, it was nothing but guitar magazines and the tablatures for stuff all over the floor, and he would just learn everything. So they disappeared. We wanted to continue playing music, so Gator had a bass. I bought a guitar, and he started kind of showing me how to play.
All right.
Yeah.
So it was just Gator was your teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
taking lessons from Gator, and then in that band you started contributing guitar to it as well.
So it was me and him, and then our third leg, Jeff, my buddy Jeff, picked up the third guitar, and same thing. We were all self-taught, teaching each other how to play, and I'm still that way. Like, I've never learned to read tablature. I don't even know chords barely. I mean, somebody's like, play A, D, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm all by ear.
Yeah.
That's just the way I've always been. But so we started jamming, and we just sat and played in our bedroom. And then eventually, like I said, we had this little shack out in Cashel. The three of us started jamming, and partying. And
a free place to jam, dude, is such a luxury for a young one at that age.
To be able to play loud.
Yeah, dude. Nobody worrying about it, and it's it's like it's a little sanctuary, a little safe haven where you guys can just be in your thing and totally vibe and figure shit out with no outside interaction, dude. I think that I've seen, and people that I know personally, and a few people that have been on the show too, like that right there is the kind of the foundation of why they build themselves up to a point where they want to keep going with it. If you have that place where you can expand and fully release and just be yourself, that's where you might find that next line to I'm gonna pursue this deeper and further. And most, a lot of kids don't have that little space that they're able to really be free. I mean, do you think about it as a teenager? Are you really free to express yourself in other places or, times in your life? But if you got, one friend that has a garage that the parents don't give a shit what you're doing in there,
right?
Or a shed in the backyard, or a gazebo in the backyard, something where the parents of whoever that is knows that you guys are just out there doing your thing, and they let you do it. I think that really does set a foundation for those kids in that environment, and then they can decide whether or not they're going to really pursue it. But setting that foundation, I think that probably the percentage of those kids move on to doing something greater, I think it's pretty high. I would think,
I figure out the childhood psychology now. So the childhood psychology is, as a parent, be like, yeah, you have a place to jam, whatever, and then let them get good, and after that be like, you're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. and then
never gonna make it wrong. That type of music, right?
Yeah, well, just like, because a lot of people, like, even, I mean, I'm mainly referring to, I've heard stories from all the people, like, when you're watching interviews or whatever from any sports person or artist or whatever, there's always like one person that like doubted some of the like top people, and they're like, fuck you, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and then they end up proving it. That obviously doesn't happen all the time, but there's always that doubter that kind of like, once they're already in it, they're already like established in their art, kind of, they already have an idea. Then it's just like, then just start doubting them for fun. Just be like, dude, you're not gonna make it though, because I don't know. It's like,
you're making me think even deeper into it from my parent brain right now, and that it's almost a selfish thing, it's more so I know where my kid's at, and I know what he or she is doing, and that makes me as a parent be able to go off and do my other things, because I know whoever's in the backyard. But
that's who's in your backyard right now, dude. Oh, it's so cute.
We got a cat. We haven't seen a cat on the show in a while.
Oh, One Eye, poor guy.
What
happened?
It's a girl.
Poor guy.
What's her name?
Her name is Satil.
Satil. I like that name.
That's a cool name. What does Satil mean?
It's a character from the expanded universe Star Wars universe. And it's my girlfriend's cat, and she lives here now, which means I found a chick that named her cats after Star Wars characters. Dude,
Ooh.
come on.
Oh,
Keeper.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on, guys.
That's a big.
I know.
So now we need to know how Satil lost her eye.
She doesn't know. She was found as a kitten.
Really?
And she got adopted by Dominica.
Oh, you were so cute, though.
She's really sweet. And this little onesie outfit slows her down at night because she's usually kind of a bully with my cats.
But what's funny is seeing a cat that's wearing something like that. I mean, she definitely doesn't look fully comfortable right now, but she's not freaking out.
No, she'll just like stand there.
I know someone who knows what happened. I think Nate, go ahead and tell us what. I just removed him. I just removed him.
What up, Nate?
So what happened with Satil? Why did she lose an eye?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
What up?
So why did Satil lose an eye, dude?
Because the cat, dude. I don't know.
You're supposed to say, yeah, dude. That was amazing. That was very good, dude. I ate it all so fast. I'm totally, dude.
What are you guys talking about? You guys ate cat? You guys ate the cat's eye?
While Mica was talking, I was like shoveling this into my mouth because not only was it so good, but I was just trying to get it done quick because I hadn't eaten dinner tonight. Dude, that was amazing, and she's definitely.
So that's a cat eye burrito they made earlier.
Yeah,
sorry.
it was.
Aww.
Teal's sister, fried up nice.
That's adorable.
No, I'm just
What's up, Nate?
What up? How's it going?
How's it going?
Nate Dog.
Nate
What
Dog.
up, Mica, dude.
Everybody who is not on the video, we got Nate Venerucci. Nate from.
He's Nate. He's straight up naked right now, dude.
Ontogeny, anomalous, soul asunder. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
You got a crazy resume, bro. Nate has like one of the gnarliest resumes.
And mustaches.
Dude, I'm talking about Mike is holding it strong for the horns. I've been holding it down for the mustaches.
Right? Dude, together we got like the Fu Manchu thing going, dude.
Actually, now that I've noticed it, dude, you both have had very distinct facial hair ever since I've ever known you guys.
It's the Doc Holiday, bro. You got to do it. You just sometimes got to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, you understand how pissed I would be if Nate or Mica like shaved. I mean, I know he had to do Mica for a job, but if like you and Nate both did it, I'd be like, well, death metal was fun. I guess I'll move on to I'll go to jazz now. Like that would be crushing.
Would think I'm beyond the mustache a little bit, but I do understand that for sure, man.
I'd be bummed. I'm sticking by it.
I'd be bummed too because it would mean there's some sort of like flesh-eating disease that precedes it, and that'd be a real bummer. Like there's a fire, so like if I came like from a fire and you're like, dude, you suck, you shaved your mustache, I'd be like, what's your problem, dude? You know. So it depends on the circumstance, you know.
And it's like, dude, he got older. He got bald on his face.
Yeah, that would suck. Like, that shit's real.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. So what's new with you, Nate? Good to see you.
Oh yeah, man. Just plugging away. Ontogeny is going to be recording very soon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, guitars are going right now, and May is going to be the drums. So it's a little bit of time still, but all 8 songs are done for the metal stuff, and then we'll have like 2 instrumental-y things. Who knows how those will evolve, but I always write those kind of on the spot in the studio, so we'll see how those come out. And Anomalous is actively working on stuff too, so that's been pretty fun too.
Right,
it's like working on a totally different type of chops than I've been playing the past few years. Again, it's kind of like getting the Anomalous rust in there, man, and that stuff's really hard. So learning the EP was like where I started, like get back to that stuff. I kind of already know how to play all the stuff from Omnivalent that I wrote, but I got to get like learning some of the other stuff. But writing's going really good. Tim's been flying away on that, so I feel like I got to catch up. And Sam is actively writing stuff too. So yeah, a lot of stuff there.
In the chat too. I saw him in there.
What's that?
I said Sam's in the chat with us too. I saw him in there.
Sam. Yeah, Sam's
there. He is.
That guy's something else musically. He's really
dude.
And what a hidden gem Sam was, because it's also like you and Mica. Like these are the people like I just would randomly find like what this is like. These are like the underground folks that are just killing the overground. Can we call it overground for now? Anyone that made it's overground and then underground? I don't know if that'll stick.
It's over my ground, dude. But actually, we're gonna go off on a little Sam thing because you said Sam's a gem, and Nate actually was my whole introduction to Sam. Sam was not on my radar until
that's what I'm saying.
Kicking it at Nate's house one night. We're taking dabs, and then he's like, check out this SL1, dude. And my mind was just spinning in my head, flipping upside down and continuing with the dabs. And I was just, I was kind of floored by what I had to read. It was actually very exciting because it was something that was so overwhelming when I heard it the first time that I had to go back and try and like organize it for my brain, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that we're kind of chasing, kind of the things we were talking about, finding the new shit. Like that first listen is almost you can't really absorb a lot from it because your brain isn't ready for it, you know. And then you give it another 2 or 3 listens, then things start to settle out, and it starts to your brain starts to defrag and put things in the right files, and then you start to make it something that you can understand, dude. And SL1 was something that I was like, oh, dude, I need to break this open for quite some time to really grasp what's going on, dude.
Honestly, he had a band, I think they were called One for Every Victim, that they first played with Asunder, and that's where we got introduced to him. And you could tell he had character in his riffs, and that's what I really like in guitar players is when they have character, because a lot of people are good, but he has his own character in his riffs. Like you could tell it's a Sam riff when he plays it. So that's when immediately when I saw him, I said, "Do you want to jam and try to learn ontogeny stuff?" And he learned 4 ontogeny songs in a day, which was like, yeah, I think you're in, dude. And he got
I think you can do it.
He got him show ready in one day, and I was like, yeah, I suck, and you're in, and yeah, that's really cool. And, you know, I wish the distance wasn't there. I drove to Clear Lake just to jam with him because he was that fun to play with. Because it was like I jammed with so many guitar players that were like, yeah, your stuff, I can play it. I listened to the whole album. It's nothing. Then they get here, and it's like, now I'm sitting here with this guy for hella hours. Like, here, let me just try
riff number 4
riff or something. Then let's go. But Sam was just, I was floored, you know. And
yeah, dude, I just laughed so hard in my head because Ian called me out, dude. Was I slouching? Yep, look at that, dude. It gets rid of the.
Oh no, I know. I was gonna say like, oh, I love that defeated Sanet shirt you got on, dude.
Look, it does it. I gotta throw the shoulders back, dude, to make sure everybody knows. Exactly
no. Show what we're talking about though. Put the shoulders forward. I gotta show. Yeah. I was like, I've never heard of Defeated Sanet, dude. That's like some sort of super underground band that was coming through.
Shit,
but no, like back to Sam though. I mean, Sam's like one of those guys. Watching him play, I'm like, where the fuck is this guy? Like, what is going on? Like, how? Just there's these hidden pockets of people, and you think about even like back in the Carnivorous days, like Dan Kenny and Anthony finding Ivan. Like Ivan just came out of fucking nowhere, out of Turtle Rock.
I was just talking about that tonight, dude.
Yeah. And I was like,
Adam Hallam, shout out Adam. He came by for a side job tonight, and we were chatting, and he was like, "Do you know Ivan?" Like, he's actually the dude I've collaborated with on more projects than anybody else, really, because my guesties on Deeds and Continuum. But finding Ivan was such a treat, dude, because we had a bass player at the time who had played with Ivan previously, and our guitar player that was aside from Dan Kenny, Ryan, he left because we were just starting to evolve past his capability. And Mike was just like, or Mike, the bass player that we were with at the time, I know this dude Ivan. you know, and Ivan showed up with his Ibanez and a bong and fucking was like, "What's up, dude? I learned a song or two or whatever," and he showed us his skills, and pretty much, I think on the spot, we were like, "Dude, we need to fucking keep going," you know.
I remember like Dan coming over with him and being like, "This guy just like shreds me. This little guy right here just shreds me." And then watching him play, I'm like, "Oh fuck!" And I remember Dan was in Animosity or some other band, and we did the Carnivorous run with Severed and Odious and Decrepit and stuff. And Ivan just held down the guitars on his own and fucking crushed. And I was like,
dude, it was
what the fuck is this guy? You know?
And you know, at that point, when Carnivorous dissolved, I knew Ivan was going to keep going, and look at what he's done since then, you know. And yeah, he again another player that came from our shit that deserves it all, dude. And but back to I love you, Ivan, but we're gonna move away from
So Mica and Nate, we got Mica and Nate together. So
I was actually just gonna try and segue into how you guys met. You know, like you guys obviously met, or did you meet before you guys jammed together?
Yeah, because he was part of the Chaz and all those guys, the Soul Center boys. Nate's brother. They were all friends. Nate was shit. You were what, like 18 when we met?
Oh no, I was like 15.
Fuck, man, something like
same
that.
Brother, Nate, same brother I met at Cannibal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my brother was in a band. He kind of introduced Chaz, one of the main writers from Soul Center, to metal, and it growing up basically. And they had a band called Driven, which was amazing. And as a little kid, I like loved Driven a lot. And I had Brian Kenny and Chaz in it, who once Driven fell apart, they formed Soul Asunder. They got Keith to play drums for them. They released an album that was a self-titled album, or Manfax. So I kind of know it as like Minion or Manfax.
Yeah, Minion.
Minion. I kind of don't know the official name of it, but when I heard that as a kid, I was like, damn, this is amazing. It was like X-Toll influence, but Super Meshuggah influence at the same time, like Soilwork influenced, and it like Sepultura influence. It was like everything from my childhood, because we grew up, Chaz and me and all that, listening, like influencing each other and musically with metal stuff. So that was really cool. And then they got Mica, and I actually didn't meet Mica until I was already in Anomalous, and Soul Center was rehearsing at Max's house at that time. So when Soul Center needed a bass player, they asked me to fill in for bass, and that's like the era when I met Mica. I remember kind of being scared to meet Mica. He had like a Glenn Benton thing about him when I first saw him, like in the Soul Center videos. You know, I was like, this guy's horns are scary, and my dad's not gonna like this dude. Like banging heaters out in his truck, like, "What's up, dude? You like Satan?" And I'm like, "Oh shit," you know. So that was like a cool thing to befriend Mica at that time too, because I was like, damn, this dude's legit into metal, man. This is like a real metal dude, and that was a real cool thing to start playing shows with Soul Center too, because like they were already streamlined into shows playing with Mica and the original bass player and all that. So I was like entering a band that was already like, you got to get up to speed playing live. We want to do stuff with this. So it was kind of like, all right, figure this shit out fast, you know. And
I mean, piggybacking on Mica was intimidating when I was a kid. He was just like, he was a hammer. You were a hammered guy. Like back in the day, you were aggressive.
Talking to somebody earlier, so like my stage name was the Maniac, right?
That's right. That's right.
It was the Maniac, and you know, people like Alice Cooper on stage. But nice guy, Mr. Christian, right? There's a stage persona. Yeah. Back then, I was a maniac on stage and off stage.
And off stage, I was gonna say
that was my fucking life.
That's
that was totally. That was a thing, because I remember seeing you off stage sometimes, be like, oh shit. I was like, you know, a young, just barely able to go into the bars, maybe like 21 or something. And you were out just like after chugging beer, like Aptos Club. I have a memory of you just going like, "Rawr," and just chilling like, damn, that guy's fucking nuts.
Lots of drinking.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
There's so many maniac stories, like metal wise, that when you hear them, you're like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. So I heard those stories before meeting him too. It was like, you're gonna meet Mica. He's done this. And I was like, oh damn, dude. So he had a lore about him when I first met him, and and hearing all those stories was just so fun, and being in that band playing was a really good time. So, and then hearing Mica's vocals was really cool as well, because Ontogeny, I couldn't do vocals at the time. I was like a little kid, and I still talked like my mom, so I couldn't growl or anything. So I needed growling vocals, and Mica, once I heard it, I was like, yeah, please do it. So he recorded the first Ontogeny album too, Pillars of Perversion. He's on the entire thing, and I wrote the vocals and just went, here, sing this line over here, and we kind of did it in, I don't know, a couple days, and it was really fun to hear my songs with a real death metal vocalist for the first time too. So
that is cool. That's very cool. So you guys got together. So I mean, Soul Asunder Aptos Club. So when did you were you in Soul Asunder at the Aptos Club, like that show back in the day?
That might have been that was probably still rolling.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. I mean,
Soul Asunder opened that. Soul Asunder opened for Odious a couple times, I believe.
Pound.
The Pound, perhaps. I can't remember the other ones too, but it might have been at the house party. Mica, did you open for Odious at a house party?
Dude, I don't remember. I probably did.
I feel like one was a house party.
There was one in San Jose.
Was it the Campbell? It was the Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell.
Yeah, I played that one for sure. I remember that.
That's
one.
where we got. That's where we asked Anthony.
Oh,
that was like. Oh no, it was before that. We got Anthony do a couple songs with us.
Oh, he did.
We brought him up at the Gaslighter. The Gaslighter. Gaslighter.
The Campbell gas lamp.
Gas lamp.
Yeah, gas lamp. Gas.
Something.
That's what it was.
Something gassy. But that's where we had him first try out. That was the first. Even though he's frozen right now. If you look at it, it's gone.
But Soul Center opened for Seventh Savior and Deeds of Flesh at Broadway Studios as well.
Is that an NCMU show?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, the number one biggest show that I remember every time is definitely the Anaheim. Wasn't that Anaheim? It was at the place where
the California Metal Fest.
That was
California Metal Fest.
That was my last show with them, actually.
No, it was
damn, man.
Wasn't it?
Nah.
You were just on a maniac rampage, and you just forget all that shit afterwards.
You played Berkeley with Brian without Chaz too, and that whole set is online. That's one of the sets we have, and Chaz wasn't in the band at the time too, but he set up the show and booked it, and it was me and Brian on guitar, and Sam on bass, and you. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Dude, there are so many shows I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Definitely played more
How many?
I have to look at the bloodletting to find out 80% of the shows we did that tour.
I try to find one
maybe
screenshot of when I look at tour flyers, I'm like, or laminates, I'm like, what did you do that show? I'm like, I have no idea about that show. I have no idea. I just need one screenshot in my brain to kind of bring me back to it and just start the brain rolling.
That suck really bad, and you don't want to remember them at all.
Yeah. I mean, there might have been ones I thought were awesome.
In your brain, though. Those stick.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Casey's right. Those are the ones that stick around.
The worst and the best, but all in between, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, there's definitely not memorable places that you show up to. Like, as soon as you open the door, you're like, this is going to be shot.
When you see some stage in like in Oklahoma somewhere, and you're like, oh fuck, this is
like
they're waiting for the
fucking Soul Asunder tour.
yeah, just waiting for like the owner to get there to open the door.
Like that.
There's like a plywood stage that they didn't even bother painting. You know?
Yeah, it's like once they open that door, though, you get in, you walk in, and look at it, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is the stage."
Dude, a lot of
and the bathroom like doesn't work. You're like, "God
like,
damn!"
Open the door and they'd be like, "Don't worry, we're gonna move that buffet, and that's where you're gonna set up the drums and the table we're gonna be on, and that table once they're done eating, you're ready to go." It's like, yeah, all right.
That's the drive to play live, dude. That's the drive to play live in our shit, dude. And we got to find the spots like that. It's kind of, I mean, not to take it away from music, but with comedians, you know, they gotta. There's plenty of comedians I've heard talk about doing their set while people are waiting to sit down at a restaurant, and the punchline gets stepped on by somebody being announced that their table's ready, you know. and so that's the underground shit, dude. That's the grind that we had to do in order to play live.
One of the shows I went to in high school was this high school band called Blind Issues, and they legit played a Chinese food restaurant that didn't stop serving people Chinese food. So it was like a high school metal band just blasting while people were trying to take orders for Chinese food.
And drink their green teas and shit, dude. Well, I mean,
Blind Issues, they weren't into corn at all. Right? They didn't like corn at all.
Oh, dude, you got to bring up corn at least once while Nate's on, dude.
I mean, Blind Issues, like that's it's a song name and a band and an album name.
A song and an album. You're right, dude. I didn't even think about that.
They sounded like Blink-182. It was interesting. It didn't sound like corn at all.
It's like, you ever see Nookie Faith? Nookie Faith was one of my favorite. Sorry,
Nookie Faith, dude. I got faith in the Nookie, dude.
What's up? We're Nookie Faith.
There's gotta be a new metal band that started at that time called Nookie Faith, dude. They're
Faithful
from
Nookie.
Like buttfuck nowhere, Louisiana, dude. Somewhere in there was a Nookie Faith, dude.
All follow the Nookie. Anyways, so rock and roll's fun. You guys ever play?
Fun, that's why we're talking about it today.
So no, back to Mica and stuff. So you and Nate started jamming and stuff. I mean, like we played I always think of Soul Asunder. I think of playing the Anaheim. It's in the same parking lot as the Angels play, and Sting played there the night before. It was a big Summer Slaughter.
Yeah.
What the fuck was it called? It was the venue. I don't know. But that was like a fucking humongous show. And I remember like seeing you guys there, and I'm like, oh, I felt so much more comfortable because it was a big fest. And the California
or the LA?
California.
LA Metal Fest or California Metal Fest?
It's California Metal Fest.
Yeah.
Is that Carcass and shit? Carcass and
I have the poster right behind me. Actually, it's Carcass, Suffocation, Exodus, Repulsion, The Faceless, Whitechapel, Samael, Arsis, Decrepit Birth, Veil of Maya, Psychroptic. Don't know what that band is. Burning Masses. Don't know what that band is. And Soul Asunder.
Sick.
So talk about that, because I remember because we were on tour at that point, I think, and running into that show.
Was it Chain Reaction?
No, it wasn't Chain Reaction. No? It was like held like Sting played there like 2 nights before. It was a big ass place.
Anaheim. It was a
Grove.
Really cool
Grove.
And man, Psychroptic and Decrepit Birth, and the lineup was really tight. Suffocation.
What year was it?
Probably 08. I was like right out of high school, so like 08 when we did that. And that was right after a tour. So we did the Grind Your Mind tour, which was like 24 dates. And then we ended it with that show.
That's right.
And that was a perfect way to end it, because when you're on the tour, you're playing all these like shows, you're getting better and better as you go. And then to finish with that big one was the way to go. We were already like practiced, so that was cool.
Primed.
Yeah, it was a good show. I remember that. That was tight. good times in the world had by people.
You're definitely had by people, dude. Fine-tuned by the end of the tour for sure. Everybody's feeling almost over it at the end of a tour, but still in the pocket, right? That's how at least I felt.
That was a brutal tour too. It was a Metal Maniacs tour, Metal Maniacs magazine tour, but it wasn't promoted at all in almost every place we went. It was a brutal tour, but yeah, I remember, like, I mean, some shows there'd be maybe a handful of people, but I'd play like there's 1,000 people out there, right? I mean, if there's 4 people, you make sure that they fucking remember you. And instead of being like, oh, this is a shit show, let's just fucking jack off on stage. It was
totally,
you put on a show.
No, that's a show.
Yeah.
And I think we're all humbled enough to where we all did that, right? We've all had the 6 to 10 people in the crowd, but you could see that they were there for you, and you now not only are obligated, but you feel like I'm not gonna half step my shit just because things didn't turn out my way. There are people here to see us perform. Let's perform for these people, you know?
Like,
and there's
are you ready? And that one guy's like, yeah, let's do this.
Exactly,
he's like looking around like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm down.
The personal aspects of it end up being a lot more extreme, you know, and for that guy to get pointed out and be like, yeah, I am, dude. He went home and told fucking 10 friends, dude.
Yeah, we've had those shows, even with Odious and Decrepit, where there's been like 2 people there, and we're like, you know, we're playing for it, and we're like, you know, bands will leave just like, no, there's no one here, we're not playing shit. And I'm like, first of all, like, we're playing, you know, like it's a practice, or just like these guys are here and they're excited about it. Like, you can't just be like, nah, we're underground death metal. It's like there's someone in a random city in a random part of the United States that wants to see you. It's like, to me, that's cool. Like, you know, to walk away from that
mic, dude, I would get up in that crowd with them. Ask the Sever guys. A lot of times we'd have those, you know, small crowds, and I'd get out there, sandals and all, dude, and start moshing while I'm doing songs and shit. Just because it's like, dude, we're all here. Let's fucking have fun, dude.
Fuck yeah.
You know?
I mean, like we were talking about, like it's like something that they'll never forget. Kind of what we're talking about, like Mica with the Glenn Benton thing. Like, if he would have just given you that shot, you'd have been like, forever. That's the sickest thing ever. You know, it's like, and then those 2 kids, and there's people that have. There's that one guy in Rochester that has a podcast now, and I forget what podcast he has, but he was one of the 2 people at that show because it was the last second change on Bloodletting. Andrew. And we put like we were all it seems the story seems mean, but it wasn't mean. But we were like playing, and we were like putting stickers on his head while we were playing. It seems mean, but he never forgot about it, and he always talks about it still. It's like,
let's
one of those
give him
things.
A quick shout out, Underground Noise webzine.
That's right.
Underground Noise. YouTube. He's doing some interviews and shit. He's interviewed me, and he's actually keeps doing it, you know, and it's growing for him, and I love that, dude. Just never stop doing what you want to do, dude.
It's a community. Actually, that show, and I'll bring up like a funny story real quick, was the first time, because, you know, when you're on tour, you want to go shit in the girls' bathroom, because that's where you go shit. You're trying to shit. You're trying to get your dump out, not in the order that was like piss all over everything. So run in there, go in the girls' bathroom, go poop, and then go reach for toilet paper. I reach, and I'm like not looking, because I'm like on my flip phone. This is how old this is. I'm on my flip phone, going like, whatever, dude. And I reach, and all of a sudden the bottom just opens. It's not even it's not toilet paper, and it's like all these like bloody things hit me.
Oh, you got the fucking discard of the fucking.
But the thing is, I didn't know that existed. I had never seen one of those. So I was like, I had to like, I looked down, I'm like, what the fuck was that? I looked down, just see like probably like 15 to 20 bloody like tampons. Slap my hand as it goes down, and I remember looking down like, what? Why is there a bunch of blood oh no. I was like, they have a trash can in their bathrooms?
Dude,
They have a trash can? And
that is crazy, bro.
yeah,
that is wild as shit. But I thought that your story was gonna go to how you just ended up with no toilet paper, and I was just gonna be like, well, it gets used twice as much in that bathroom, so of course it would be
I would just go
quicker.
I would penguin walk my ass to the fucking where the people use their hands and then use that for wiping. I'd find a thing out because there's no one in the venue and just I'd figure it out,
dude. But no, the only thing you found was discarded fucking tampons, dude.
I was like worried about like getting a disease because like it was black and red and all these things like hit my hand, and I was like,
black, dude.
Blood turns black, Doug. I don't know.
If you ever black and green and red.
Yeah,
man. Sounds like we're fucking writing the new Gorgasm album or something, dude.
But no, that was anyways, that was a side story, quick side story that touched 25 tampons at once.
Quick.
But things happen. So you guys got together. I mean, actually knowing Nate, I think Nate, did I see you jam guitar before that I found out that you were in Soul Asunder or something? Because I remember seeing you as a guitar. Okay.
Same time. I was playing ontogeny guitar at the same time I was doing bass for Soul Asunder, and then Soul Asunder eventually Brian left Soul Asunder, so they needed a new guitar player. So I just went to guitar in Soul Asunder. So I played guitar in Soul Asunder as well too. So but I think I met you when I was playing bass for Soul Asunder.
Okay, that's right. Did the band just go like, why the fuck are you playing bass when they saw you play guitar?
No, to be honest, I think after a while I kind of was like, I'm tired of playing bass for a minute there. But it was a great way to just start playing live shows, because Anomalous, it was the road to play live was just like so far away, and it eventually never happened for me. They played 2 shows without me, but I never got to do that with them. We got so close to doing it, and then Marco was like, "Yeah, I joined a band called Brain Drill. We're about to tour." I was like, "Sick, nice, you do it." And then, yeah, so Soul Center was just live ready right away. So I just started playing shows, and that was super fun. So it's such a long time of playing shows, and working with Chaz is really cool, man. Because and Brian, they're musically really interesting players, super interesting. Chaz was like the first person who introduced polyrhythms to me when I was like 6 years old, or 7 years old when I knew him, and I remember him explaining what a polyrhythm was to me, and then showing me how to do it and showing me how I couldn't do it. And I remember being so frustrated, like, damn it, I don't understand this, and this guy understands this. So it took me a while to get there. And playing with them, you could see he always had that fun rhythmic aspect to it, but he was so catchy and flavorful. So their music was really fun. I always had fun in that band, but playing guitar was what I liked more than bass, for sure, So
definitely.
There was the knowing that you two were going to be on tonight. There's one thing, I see it in Mica's Metal Archives discography, Pillars of Perversion.
Yeah.
I want to know your involvement, Mica. And also, side note, I think tonight I just remembered, or I'm hoping the memory is correct. Nate, did you ever go to the OG Thunderdome in Santa Cruz?
A few times.
That is where
Mica was there too.
Mica came to the Thunderdome too?
Yeah.
So that's where
I think I think I did.
I know, like probably.
That's such an unconfident nod.
For sure hit Maniac mode.
The Maniac was there. I don't know.
Hell yeah, dude.
For sure hit Maniac mode. You could tell when he hits Maniac mode because he like looks slightly above you the whole time. You're like
looking behind you.
He looks at your forehead.
He's looking over a fence the whole time when he's just all like
exactly. That's when you're like, oh,
Isn't that funny how we have friends that just
usually is
they have alter egos that happen when alcohol happens. Like Ivan, we were bringing him up earlier. We used to call him the Chupacabra. So funny. I was just talking about that earlier with Adam, but we used to call him the Chupa. Something just happens after the alcohol. But
something switches.
So it's got to be a confirmation, because even though we've been friends for several years, Nate, I never asked you, like, how did I get that physical copy of Pillars from you? Where was it at? And I'm now remembering it was at the Thunderdome, dude. You probably brought a couple copies or whatever to hang out at a party, whatever. And that's where I got it, dude. It's one of my cherished, rarities in my physical CD collection is the OG Ontogeny, dude. So now let's hear about how that came about. Like, so obviously Ontog came after Anomalous, or were you already working on Ontog?
Well, Ontogeny's been my project forever. Like, that's just been me playing music, and I wanted to make a death metal project always because I love death metal. Asunder wasn't death metal. Anomalous at the time, I didn't think I was going to write anything because it was like Max and Tim just arguing and writing crazy riffs. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to interrupt that process. It wasn't until the next album that I kind of wrote a lot of stuff, and it's because I don't know, they liked what I wrote. So I was like, I want to make a death metal project, and that's what I did. And I programmed all these drums. The original recording has even worse programmed drums because it was when I was like 14 years old that I did that, and it has like.
Are you selfieing right now, dude?
I actually took a picture. I'm actually sending. All right.
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Joel's calling me out now, so I got to do it.
He's Anthony's like the middle of your story. He's all.
Sorry, I had to take a picture.
I had to call him out.
Recent comment. I have to tell him he had a sick nickname in college. I nicknamed my cousin Pig Destroyer because she was so shriekingly loud when she would talk, like high emotion. So when she would get too loud like that, I would tell her, hey, Pig Destroyer, we need to take it down to, Soundgarden right now. and I've never heard anybody have the nickname Pig Destroyer up until this point, so I had to take a picture of that so I could send it to her and be like, quiet.
Just watch yourself when you're doing it next time. Don't be like this. Just don't be like, to be like that.
Sorry,
like a
dude.
boomer.
I didn't fucking know.
All right, boomer. That's fine.
The camera that I'm on is right here. I didn't. It's supposed on normal computers. It's right there. So I sorry, the thing was right next to the camera.
All right, so Nate, back to you. Nate, do you remember where you were at?
I programmed the original album, and then I wasn't good at writing vocals at all. So the first Ontogeny vocal track was written by my brother. Then he said, let's get Mica to sing it. And that's, it's on the album, and I can't remember what the song is called. Congregating Coffins was the very first lyric song that my brother wrote the lyrics for. And yeah, he said, let's just get Mica to do it because he has the corpse grinder, like high scream and low thing, and he has the mid, like he hits all the screams, he had all of them. So that's how he was thinking of the vocals for it, and I was like, yeah, that's what we should have. And we did it, and I was like, yeah, that works. So we set up a session where I just wrote all the vocals one day for the entire album, and like Mica stayed over for the weekend, and we just kind of recorded all the songs really fast because they're kind of super straight vocals, and it's really straight death metal, that first album. So Mica grew up in straight death metal stuff, so it was perfect. It was going great. The session was just really fun and creative because he knew more about screaming and layering vocals than I did at the time. I was kind of just new to recording anything, so just doing all that with him was a growing experience for me, recording vocals, and then learning how to mix it myself was the first time I ever mixed screaming. Because I couldn't do it myself, and every time I tried it just sounded so stupid, and I thought I had kind of decent songs to show people. So Mica kind of finished it out and made it showable.
Dude.
It is, dude.
I still love that album. Yeah,
I mean, that album right there is the reason why I'm still an Ontogeny fan today. Obviously, you guys have progressed and changed and done your thing throughout the career, but what locked me in as an Ontog fan was Pillars of Perversion. And I want to hear, Mica, what's your version of the same thing that Nate just said? So talk about when you got the call, you got the lyrics, what was going through your head?
He just, asked me to come in and lay the vocals. He had everything written, programmed drums, guitars, bass, everything all laid out already. So yeah, I showed up, hold up the lyrics. He's like, here's the next part. Boom, 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 boom. Then like you said, we just kind of rolled through it. But it was fun because that's more my style shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just that more straightforward death metal.
Yeah.
So I loved it, man. I was stoked to do it. Had a great time. And
yeah, dude. I mean, that
yeah,
literally
and
is.
the cool thing is like that album. I remember talking about the MySpace days. Is Cannibal Corpse's bass player like
Alex,
got a hold of it, and put it up in one of his number 6, or number top fours or whatever. I was like, oh my god, dude!
Dude,
he wore our shirt for the DVD too, and the Blotted Science photo. So that was like, yeah, that was huge when Cannibal Corpse, because that album is like Cannibal Corpse worship too. It's real Cannibal Corpse heavy on the influence, because I don't
know what it is about that dude in California death metal, but he really did rep a lot of us at that time, dude. I mean, he's got multiple t-shirts from bands that I've been in, same with you guys, and he's proud to wear them, I mean, watching that metal Headbangers Journey, that documentary, he's being interviewed in a Severed Savior t-shirt. You're like, what the fuck's going on right now? But it's cool because I've had the pleasure to sit down and chat with him, and I'd love to sit with him on the show. Guys, everybody hit up Alex Webster if you're connected. The Cali Death podcast really wants you on.
That'd be awesome.
Because we're all the bands that you used to rep and maybe still rep have all been on the show. We'd love to talk to you about all those bands and yours. To see a guy like that, because Cannibal was one of the first death metal bands that I was ever introduced to, and to, idolize them, and then realize that a guy at that level who you feel like you're looking up a mountain at the guys in Cannibal Corpse. They're standing on top of the fucking Himalayas while you're standing at the bottom, and then you see one of the guys wearing your t-shirt or repping your band and giving you props. That literally, right, that moment for any of us right there, if we had any doubt in ourselves at that time, it was washed with that, because the death metal gods have given us our fucking our praise enough to where it's like we need to keep going and keep seeing this through, because it's being recognized, by the people that we were recognizing when we got into it. So yeah, it's super. I honestly get more excited when anybody reps Ontogeny than Odious Mortem. Because I'm just like, dude, about the fucking sickest shit right here in California.
Oh, if you're in another state and someone has an Ontogeny shirt, you're like, we need to be friends.
You're
we need to go. We need
to. When I was in Europe, we played. I don't remember where. We were at this show. After the show, got called over. Anyhow, I got a photo with this dude's repping an Ontogeny shirt. And I was like, no fucking way. He ordered it and ordered the CD, was a huge fucking fan.
Dude. Yeah, and those are all shipped by me, folks.
Yeah, that place that
he's all, I need credit for that fucking trip to the post office, that fucking postage.
Sometimes
which was insane.
It's a bummer. Sometimes it's a bummer when you didn't charge, like those days. I didn't know about shipping so many.
Totally.
I was just like, yeah, my album's available all over the world, dude. War-torn countries, it's all good. And I was like, dude, some shipping. I was like, bro, $40, and I didn't make a cent, and
you lost money.
So some things got sent back a bunch of times. Like there was this one dude, man, I tried to ship him this package 4 times, and each time it was like $20. And after a while, I was like, dude, I got to refund you the money. I can't get it there, man. I'm in the hole, bro. like $100 for this one package.
Jesus.
I mean, that comes at a good time since we were talking about the DIY thing, those are the things that happen when you decide to be a DIY band, you know. Those are a bigger, you know, company can take that hit a lot easier than Nate can from, you know, his house. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean, for me, the DIY thing was just also because I don't sit on material. I constantly make music, so the idea of waiting for something to be released to me is just I don't care enough to wait for it either. So it's get it out there because I spent all this time making it, so which is probably not the best way to do it either because it should have like a proper release and all this stuff. I'm not good at that portion of it at all, but
I think
got
all the Ontage releases deserve worldwide access, dude, because that's some shit right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you
pretty
know,
much like
Nate's
so many
known I've been like
fucking
fucking in the top fans list of Ontageny for quite some time.
well,
yeah,
right
like
on.
legit musicians will all like talk about like I remember I was on the Naveen Cheney podcast, Copper Crab, and I was like, it was the first or second time I was on, but I was like, I just last night, damn, I feel like kind of like hungover because I went to go see Ontogeny last night, and they were like, you fucking like Naveen was like, you fucking saw Ontogeny last night? What the fuck? Where the fuck were they playing? He was like mad that he didn't know. He was kind of pissed. He was like, the fuck didn't you invite me? Like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, dude. Like one of the like most, the top people know about you as far as I'm concerned, as far as musician wise, but like when it comes down to like the masses, people are like they're not like informed, but like the top people know about you. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
he's insane, he's bananas, he's fucking one of the best musicians. And I'm like, I know, I get like, because I remember back in the day I used to be like the most every shot picture anything. If you look about like my first times, like first 3 or 4 tours, it was like this gross Ontogeny shirt. It was like and you'd give me another, even because I was wearing it so much, mine was all worn out, and you gave me another one. Like when I hit San Francisco, you were like, dude, that one's all fucked up, get another one. And because I was like wearing it so much, because I'm like, dude, people need to fucking hear this band. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
I appreciate that support and thank you for that. And it's I guess making this shit has just always been there too. So it doesn't, in the end, it doesn't really matter. I guess for me, I have to say this to keep me sane too. Otherwise, you'll just stop making it, right?
but I mean, okay, that's a good question for you. So the purpose of you making music, there's a very small percentage of that you need it, a bunch of people listen to it. It's kind of like, I think a lot of it's just like you are just putting out music because that's what you're made to do. Like you want to put out music. You're a fountain of music. You're not thinking about like, oh, marketing, all this. You're not doing that. You're just going like, I just need to put out music for my own like therapy for myself because that's what I'm put on the planet to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's always just been fun. As long as it's fun, I'll still do it. I love playing with Keith, playing in Soul Asunder, playing with Keith. Keith was the drummer of Soul Asunder too, and
oh yeah,
he's a real exciting player to play with. So it just keeps life exciting, and as long as you're doing that, you're still having fun. The promotion side of it has never been fun for me. I honestly
no, it's not fun.
Like it, so I don't do it. So in the end, I'm happy with the little circle that we've had, and the support we've gotten from musicians like yourselves, and meeting other musicians has always been a big part of it. And if somebody expressed interest, like, hey, I love the Anomalous stuff, or I love the Ontogeny stuff, I'm always kind of like, dude, you should come by and jam. Let's play some music.
I know, that's number one. Nate, if you're in town, Nate's like, dude, let's jam. Freestyle jam right now.
That's kind of what it's all about for me. And that's aside from promotion. It's just like, you always watch these old documentaries of like Jimi Hendrix and all these bands, and like, yeah, we went to this house and we jammed and we had fun together. We did this jamming thing, and they weren't in a silo. And like, that's a part of music I didn't have growing up. I always kind of just played with my programmed drums and was kind of by myself playing all the fucking time. And then finding Soul Center and moving that, started playing with other people. I still was kind of learning their songs, and then I got to write my own songs. But it's different when you're like, just let's jam, let's play some, like, Keith, give us some beats and let's solo for days and jam. You know, it's different. It's fun.
We're mentioning Keith, dude. Again, Keith, I've been thinking about you for quite some time. I'm gonna really put this out there right now. I told Micah this same thing. I have a back of the mind list of dudes that no matter what will be on this show because I want to break them up and talk to them about themselves, you know. And there's categories now that we've been doing this long enough that there's categories of guests, you know. It's the old OG homies, the people we're interested in, and then I mean let me back up. Old school homies that we are interested in, new people that we are interested in, and legends that made a big thing on us, you know. And sometimes every now and then we'll get somebody that nobody really knows about, you know. But Keith is one guy that has impressed me every single time I watch a video, I watch him live. There has never been a time that Keith has been involved in something that I didn't literally have to pick my own jaw up because of his playing. I think that he is out of all these people, he actually sits outside of it for me, dude. He's this unique little like player that can kind of, he's like a Kenny Gorowski type deal where he can kind of chameleon himself into a different project so well, dude. I mean, so when we went to Ontage, Cartilage, and then Keith's other band opened. What was the other band that
they're called Bong Father. They're like stoner doom.
Dude,
that's right.
That set was fucking amazing to me, bro. I loved that set, and knowing that Keith was behind the kit, maybe gave me a little bias, but in the sense that I knew it was going to be good because Keith has never been a part of something that has been mediocre. You know what I'm saying?
Keith he has a great appreciation for a lot of different types of music. And he's another guy that just kind of has to get it out of him and have fun playing it and doing it. Like Bong Father was formed during COVID, where he was just like, well, I'm kind of quarantining and these people I'm quarantining with, so let's form a stoner rock band. And Keith doesn't even smoke or anything too, so it's pretty funny that he's in a band called Bong Father. But
he's like all in time and shit, and everyone's like, fuck, dude, why are you all in time? You're not lagging.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty funny knowing Keith being there doing that. But I've been lucky to play not just in Soul Asunder, Ontogeny. I've played in a band called Dispel with him, which is the people from Soul Asunder playing jazz music. He's in a band called IDSF where he wrote a lot of the rhythm guitars and played the drums, and it's like prog rock music. It's amazing acoustic stuff, like in the vein of Opeth. So he's a great musician. I've been lucky to play with great musicians, Chaz and Keith and Max and Tim and Micah. All these people are just like I'm a sum of my influences for sure, because I've grown up around these guys, just playing music with them. Like, oh, this part's gonna be tight when Micah does it, so I write a song in that vein, or this thing's gonna be tight when Max does it. That kind of style of writing has shaped how I play a lot, you know.
Dude,
it gives you like a direction, kind of like when you're writing, you're like thinking about like Micah, you're thinking Max, or like it gives you kind of like your brain goes to an influence and what will work with this. I mean, you're just fucking talented.
I'm gonna go back to the hip hop thing real quick and just say, like, it's a posse, you know, and all in a hip hop posse, all the MCs were just, you know, had their competitiveness.
Clown posse. Sorry.
they were competitive, just like we've said this many times on the show, Joel. It was a healthy, positive competitiveness that we were having in our collective. Like, we'd see somebody else do something, and then it would in turn affect how we were going about our music, because if they came correct, we got to come correct too, you know. Or even healthily one up each other. And that, I think, that is like the progression that you would love to have in a posse or a collective of like-minded musicians that constantly make you feel like you need to stay on your toes in order to keep up with the homies, right?
Yeah, and Soul Asunder was that for sure. Playing with that band already being streamlined live, and Keith and Chaz are real rhythm nuts too, and I became that because of playing with them. I really am on my P's and Q's now because Chaz is like super precise, and then he started looking at Keith to be super precise, so they kind of started doing it to each other, and after a while.
Yeah.
You guys are really good and I suck and I got to get really tight real fast because you're already playing live and I got to get there. And that was
it's funny actually. We have a similar kind of trajectory because there was Dylan from he was like play with me at Burn at the Stake, this band called Burn at the Stake, and I was like cool. And he's all, hey, I want to start a new band, like a death metal band called Brain Drill. Do you want to like join with me? And I was like, sure. And so me and him started jamming. We wrote the first 2 songs of Brain Drill together, and I was like, this stuff's just too insane. I don't know if I can do the as RP Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder used to call them, the machine gun turkey. And that was a perfect description of them. But I remember like playing with them, and but it was Burn at the Stake was a melodic death metal band. It was Soul Asunder-ish, kind of like had that. And he's all, dude, fuck this. Let's break off and do something crazy. I was like, sure, let's do it. And then we started jamming in Brain Drill, kind of like Soul Asunder, then going off on Anomalous and Ontogeny and doing that stuff. It kind of feels a little similar, just like because at the
Micah
gates and
moving
stuff.
on to do his Origin thing.
Origin, that's the same thing.
Like it's these catapult situations that we all kind of have.
Reciprocal came out by Origin. We were in the jam room, which was my house, the furniture dome, and Brain Drill was practicing. They came in my room and listened to Reciprocal for the first time, and they were like, "Fuck, dude!" They were all like pissed. They were like, "God damn it!" Like this band but it was like a healthy competition. I remember Marco and everyone coming in my room just going like, "Jesus, what the fuck? We have a riff that's similar." They're all
that's good. That's good. Moment to check yourself because you don't want to have any riffs that sound like your homies or anybody else really, but having that environment to where you can witness what other people are doing and you're like, oh shit, that's dope. I don't feel like I'm as dope as that. I need to get as dope as that. Dude,
Paul Ryan showed me that album before it came out at Guitar Center, and I'm a little fucking kid too. In an Origin shirt.
How do you not quit?
Dude, I heard it and was just like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, dude,
sounds good. It sounds good. Really sounds good.
But I think one thing that's always been really cool, I've always appreciated Paul too. So it was actually, it's always exciting when Paul would show me that shit. I'd always be like, this is the sickest thing ever.
Yeah. Totally.
This is going to be the thing. And he still shows me stuff now. And I got to help do the pre-production stuff on their new album. So I still feel like that little kid in a lot of ways. Like, I'm lucky to be able to listen to Origin right now. This is, little kid Nate would be really stoked at this too, and I think kind of with our first discussion about music and what I get out of it, that's something I've gotten out of it, that, just that relationship, being able to do that type of stuff. And
Paul Ryan's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that like shepherded us, as and was once he like was like interested in hanging out with like, you're like, what the fuck is going on right now?
And he would come he'd come to the big shows, he'd come to the little shows.
Yeah, he supports everyone.
All
totally.
He's the man. He's really the man.
He is the fucking man.
He still invites me to the bar every Tuesday because that's his drinking day. And I'm like, dude, I wake up at 4 a.m. Can't it be a Friday? But yeah,
we all have great Paul stories. I love that dude.
The gear deals he used to give too.
Doesn't
do that anymore. as a broke musician, hooked me up with the ability to play some cool stuff and record myself. Like he was, when I got my studio going, when I first did that, I was just like, this is the list of stuff I need. And he's like, give me that list. We're about to see how much we can take off of it. And it made it possible because it made it more affordable. So I
Ian had mentioned that in the chat, and as soon as he said it, I have a story like that too. I think that what it is it was a situation that, you know, Paul was working for this company, and he knew that there was tons of people like him trying to fucking do what he was already doing, you know, and he was such a genuine, and is such a genuine human, that of course I'm going to try and do everything in my power to make it easier for you to have this possibility.
Well, no, I think the main fact, because I worked at I worked at Guitar Center. I knew what I could do and I knew what I couldn't do, and he would do shit that I was like, damn, dude, like he was hooking you up and actually putting his job on the line. It wasn't him just going like, oh, I like you and I want to help you. It was him going like, I am going to cut
live
this
on a podcast about it.
No, he doesn't work there anymore. He's not Guitar Center anymore, right?
There, but they're
I mean,
like,
no. But they changed their whole structure though, because I used to have people that work there and stuff. My managers and stuff would do stuff. We'd have the guitar player Prince come in, you know, or like we had Motley Crue come in, and we'd give them deals, so we'd hook them up or something. And but there was like, for the most part, we were like, no, we want to make a little profit. Like, but there, you could get away with things back in like I'm talking 2010, 11, 12. And I've actually talked to him about this. The whole structure of what you could do changed drastically because they were losing a bunch of money and they were about to go out of business. And another company bought them out and kept them afloat and stuff. And then he's all, I can't do shit anymore. But back then he would still be like, he would be taking, basically what he's doing is he's taking away from his own paycheck. He's going like, I'm making 0 cents off you, not even dollars. I'm making zero anything. But like he would do that because he was like, I want to hook my friends up. You know, I want to hook people up like that, and used to not get in trouble for it. And now they changed the structure. I've checked
on
in
his
with Guitar
lunch
Center,
breaks. He would spend time with me and Dan Kenny and just play Origin songs for us instead of go and eat some food, you know, and get some sustenance. He would rather sit down
and
hang out with us and be like, what riff do you want to hear, and see how I play it, you know?
Talk about a guy who loves what he's doing too.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah, he loves what he's doing. Yeah, he loves. Yeah, exactly.
As he listens to the Origin songs, he's just like, dude, right? You're like, right.
Totally.
He feels it. I totally get that. And
so I mean, so actually, kind of tying all into the whole story, Micah. So the whole you getting into Origin and stuff, like how did that whole process happen?
Well, I had known Paul for quite some time, just from local shows, and he kind of hooked up with my old drummer from Legion Victorious way back in the day, and so I knew him. And then when they needed a singer, he actually hit me up, and I was like, fuck yeah, like absolutely.
You're like, no, you're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, it was a fucking dream come true, because you know, I had done the little Soul Asunder tour, and I did the one run before that with the Faceless, which was awesome, opening up for Nile and shit.
That's right.
And so I hooked up with him.
Drums, by the way.
What's that?
What was that?
That was also with Naveen on drums. When it was Naveen playing with the Faceless and Mica on vocals.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh damn, he did a tour with the. I thought he just did some songs with them. He did an actual tour.
The only tour Naveen did with the Faceless, and they played 2 songs from Planetary Duality that Mica did vocals for.
I freestyled those every night. There was no lyrics.
Yeah.
Written. Shit. I just make shit up every night. I knew the patterns. Patterns, but just freestyle.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. But joining Origin was, you know, next thing I knew, I'm flying to fucking New Zealand with them and playing with.
Could you remember? Wait, I want to take it back to your freestyle thing real quick. Could you remember any part of those songs that you did you found one line? It'd be like,
no, nothing.
Fucking
But I remember
beer,
like
or something like that. You know,
some nights I'd pick some dude out and I'd be singing about fucking his mom or fucking.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, the crowd's not moving enough. You're like, fuck, that's gonna be an asshole. Yeah. I can see doing that.
But yeah, just making shit up.
That's rad.
Yeah. But yeah, it was amazing. You know, because the next thing, like I said, I'm playing shows with bands I had listened to for 20 years.
Right.
You know, we did that tour was New Zealand, and then 4 shows in Australia was with Misery Index, Decapitated, Psychroptic. It was just fucking crazy.
Boring lineup, super boring lineup.
I'll tell you
the most insane lineup ever.
So the very first show, first song in New Zealand, come out, and the first time like walking out on stage, I'm hella nervous. And to get out, we start playing. I start coming into the vocals, and I fucking just blanked. And I lost it. And I'm kind of standing there like, don't know what to do. Paul comes over and starts hitting the vocals. I turned around, I walk over and grab some water, and I'm like, take a sip of water, and I look, and there's a backstage door, and I'm like, I can either fucking run for the fucking hills. Because I'm like,
fight or flight.
Shake. And somehow I just like, okay, listen to Paul. I could hear where he was. I found myself again, turned around, came back, and slayed the rest of the show. But
hell yeah,
dude, that was like panic mode, dude. I literally.
We were just talking earlier about the things that we forget and the things that we remember. Those are the moments that you'll never forget.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
That first show could have been the end of it, all of it, right? If I would have walked out that back door, it would have been done. Like,
oh yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
So
it's like super human instinct to like, all right, fight or flight. Like, do I do it, or do I fucking? I've blown it already. So what do I do? I come back from this, or that's
100%
awesome,
what was happening, dude. Fight or flight, right there.
Because it happens to everyone.
Time to fucking fight.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fight like a maniac.
It's like you fucking
did it, dude.
Yeah, you flew on a fucking 20-something hour flight just to get there, and you're just like, oh, I'm out. Just like you can't. You like in your head, you're like, I gotta fucking do this. See it through.
And even flying there, I didn't know because I had felonies at the time. I've since had those erased off my fucking record, but
rock on.
So the booker was like, I think I've got you, able to go there. But I literally, until I showed up at the airport, didn't know they were going to let me into the country either. So
yeah.
Dude, and to have that moment where you have a guy like Paul Ryan, who's the main guy in the project that you're playing with, and he could have totally been a different person at that time, but he saw that it was something new to you. He saw what you could be, and he kind of tried to at least help guide you through that moment, and then it was then you facing you, and you faced you, and you got back out there, and you showed Paul that you could do it, and boom, there it is, dude.
Yeah.
And it could have gone a totally different way if you had somebody else like the heroes that we're talking about that are assholes, that person could have been on stage with you like, nah, dude, we're done.
Get the fuck out. Yeah. Could have been you missed
Paul's always been lines, you're out.
He's a support system. Like Paul's a support, like for all of us younger guys. We've played a show with Origin Behemoth once, and Matt's amp exploded. Like fucking like Ingle special edition, like 5,000 amp, lights up, and he's going like, I don't know what's going on at the knitting factory in Spokane, and it's sold out, insane. There's like double things. Like, there's fucking people staring at us. And so I run in front of Matt and I start playing bass. And then he's going like, dude, my amp's fucked. He's like, I can hear him yelling it. And we ran in the backstage and no one was there. We're like, Bill's telling jokes, going, what's the deal with not Jerry Seinfeld, but he's doing like he's trying to keep the crowd occupied, and no one's there. And then Paul had already understood what was going on, pulled his car around, got his amp out and fucking put it in, and got us like set up, and like fucking we ran out in the street while we knew our band was on this like a sold out stage of the Knitting Factory, like with a Behemoth show, Necrophagous Behemoth, and like he came and just fucking set us up right away, got us with he had a weird rack system with his preamps and power amps and stuff, set us up right away and got us going again. But everyone else was gone. Like, I don't want to touch that. They were kind of like, oh, that sucks for you guys.
That's
but
Paul.
yeah, that's a Paul story that I'll never. It's one of those never forget. Like we're staying on stage going like, hello guys, how are you doing? Like, you know,
we talk about our death
huge...
metal dads on the show. Mike, Jacoby, Eric, those are the death metal dads. But I think that Paul is definitely like the cool death metal uncle.
Yeah.
He's definitely the cool death metal uncle that's just like ready to be like, hey, dude, let's fucking do this, you know?
But no, his urgency.
He doesn't really smoke weed, but he'd be like the
urgency.
uncle that would pass you the joint.
Dude, he's like a San Francisco tourist attraction as far as I'm concerned. Like if you like metal,
which is crazy because his bands are known for being from Kansas, but he's been in our scene for as long as I can remember. You know, Paul has been,
and he roots for the right team. That's all I gotta say.
Oh shit,
that's Paul's team.
Again, Niners and KC in the fucking Super Bowl. That's crazy. But yeah, he's the guy that everybody's like, oh, dude, Origin, Unmerciful, Kansas. But I'm like, I've only known Paul from being from San Francisco, you know?
Yeah, and
as long as I've known Paul, he's just been right there down the road.
City too. He's in like right next to the Tenderloin, and
I've been to his studio apartment, dude. When you guys were talking
he's
about
in the city, he's in the fucking city, dude.
He's not right there, dude.
City dog.
He's in the fucking city, dude.
In the smallest apartment that I could think of. It was actually the smallest apartment that I had ever been in. I don't know if Paul's still there, but that kind of
he's there all right.
In the city. That's still how you live in the city, dude.
We don't talk about his living situation, but
we'll just talk about how he fucking stole from corporate. No, I'm just joking.
No, but one thing about actually,
but I'm talking about his fucking residence.
Speaking of the city, I'm actually that the night Paul was like hitting me up to go hang out a bunch, and I typed in DNA Lounge, and there are people in the city that name their house DNA Lounge. So I went to 2 different DNA lounges that were in like fucking Sunset was one of them, because I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and they're like, all right, you're here, dude, and I'm in Sunset, and I'm like, this is not it. Like, and it's all they call their house the DNA Lounge, and I was like
swingers party or something.
They're trying to fucking swap DNA Lounge.
Your DNA and leave.
No, but literally it happened multiple times in San Francisco where I was like typing in because I don't know the even I should know 3rd Street. I should know that, but I did not like double check. I was like DNA Lounge, yeah, that's it. Boom.
And
DNA
it took me to Slim's. Like I knew where Slim's was, right, and DNA is just there.
YOLO.
Right.
Joel definitely
isn't it called YOLO now? Isn't it YOLO Lounge?
San Francisco.
Is that what Slim's became? I don't even know.
That's what
you live there.
Yeah, YOLO.
DNA has
here at 11th and Harrison
show in a minute that I've gone to. I got to go to them again once they have some metal shows coming up. But once Slim's closed, there's no reason really to go down there other than DNA Lounge, you know, or Costco. Costco's pretty sick.
Costco, or fentanyl, or
there's a couple of places across the street. Well, I saw Unexpect at a place across the street, but I forget what it was called. On the other side of the street.
Oh yeah, there's a brick and mortar. I saw Black Dahlia Murder there and Fallujah.
I think it is the brick and mortar. Yep.
Yeah, that's right up the street from the Best Buy, which is still there, and they still play shows too. There's not many metal shows I've seen there though. Like Black Dahlia Murder was one of the only death metal shows I've seen there. Origin just played at like a fucking nightclub when they played last time. It was like 2 years ago, I guess. So it was a while ago, but it was a straight up like dance nightclub, and there was like a disco ball and shit. I was like, this is fucking weird for Origin.
They played at Aptos. I'm literally in Aptos right now, and that's where I met Odious. I was 20 years old, couldn't go inside. I was like, they're playing my little town, dude. You have to go see Origin. Like,
Asunder opened that show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, I remember like listening to it on the outside, smoking cigarettes because I was 18 at least, so I could smoke cigarettes. But like just listening, put my ear to like, oh my god, like an Origin.
Soul Asunder opened that show, and it wasn't Longstreth. It was James King played Keith's drum kit, and Keith's drum kit was so whack,
so bad.
so bad. It was like, dude, it was like a high school band kit. It just looked like cracked eggshells. It was horrible. So, Origin
y'all, am I remembering this correctly? Odious and Soul Asunder played a show at Aptos Club together, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was my first full set with Odious.
Yes.
Was it the CD release party?
Wasn't that the Origin show? That wasn't the Origin show?
No. There's one before. It was Origin. I was outside. It was Odious
wasn't on the bill.
No, Odious was, or no, they weren't on the bill. There was a second time they played there, anyways. But a second time they were there, and I got to see Odious from the side, like staircase from the outside. I was watching only Casey, and I was like, "What the fuck is it?" I mean, blown away. But I think the Origin show was where I met everyone from Odious, like David, Casey.
What really sucked for me playing Aptos Club was I wasn't 21. I was only like 15, so I had to sit outside the whole time. Like I could only go on stage for our set, and then they'd kick me out every time. I always just waited in the parking lot for all these shows.
That's happened to me and Anthony too. I would actually brick by brick. I would sneak in beforehand. I would sneak in like while they're doing shit, like way early, and sit in the bathroom stall for like 2 hours.
Alex Bentley had to do that. Alex Bentley had to do that the whole tour, dude. He had his big old afro at the time and shit, and he was only 19. We're just like, grab as much shit as you can handle, hold it on like both sides of your body, and just walk in with us, so they don't see the fro, because once they saw that fro, they're just gonna see that as soon as it walks in again. So if they
the face,
so
he's a young he was a young looking kid, so it's like you got to make sure and get them in. I mean, there's laws now. I think the law, and I think it still was the law here, was that you can get on stage if you're underage, but you got escorted out by security when you're done. Like,
and that's what happened.
Walk outside.
That's
escorted to an alleyway and just left there for the rest of the night.
There's some places that straight up get mad at you too. Like one of the Monterey metal places that I don't know if Mica mentioned was called the Lava Lounge. We used to play the Lava Lounge all the time, and that's one I had to sit outside for. And I remember they used to get hella mad at me, like, "What's your problem, dude?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not old enough. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you here, man. I'm trying to age.
I'm not aged enough, dude."
It's like, I'm sorry, my parents like bone like way more recently than your parents. That's I'm sorry, that's on me now.
But yeah, I kind of I was young enough to play with them, I guess. So I remember I tried to play in Soul Asunder when I was probably 10 years old, and I learned all the Soul Asunder songs on drums. And I called Chaz and I was like, "Dude, I learned your whole album on drums." And he's like, "How old are you, dude?" And I went, I'm 10 years old and I'm ready to play, like, jam with you. And he went, "Yeah, no way am I going to play in a band with a 10-year-old." And I was like, "What?" I was just like, "I learned all of it, though."
I learned all of the songs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it worked out fine because we wouldn't have found Keith without that, because Chaz found Keith too. So
what's Chaz's full name? Because I feel like I know Chaz.
His name is McConnell.
What, say it again?
Charles McConnell.
Okay. Still, I'll have to look it up.
Chaz the whole time. Yeah, he's like I said, him and Max are some of the most Max and Keith really are some of the most influential people that I've played with, and still get inspired by to this day when I watch them play with any of their other projects. They have so many other things they play with, and their ideas are so original to them, and they sound like them. Chaz has never been the best guitar player or piano player, but he's always written some of my favorite riffs of all time. His piano stuff is just Dispel is his piano stuff that he released, and he has a solo album on Bandcamp, it's just some of the most emotional piano playing that it's so catchy and sick. So check that out if you ever have time. I think it's called In Black and White.
In Black and White?
Yeah, by Charles McConnell. I think that's
Charles McConnell. Oh yeah. I'm gonna check that out. That's awesome. I mean, there's those people that are scholastic with music, and those people that have a mix of both, and there's people that are just scholastic. We're just like, it's only like kind of more what they've learned through lessons and stuff. But there's people that put their emotions out there through music in a certain way that aren't just like, oh, I learned the scale, I'm going to take that and augment it. They're like, they know what they want to put out. They have a sound they want to put out, and that's the difference between people that fill in on guitar for a band. They're like, oh, I can play all the notes, like perfect, or someone that like gives a soul to it, like brings soul to music. And I think there's a distinction, and that's kind of come from the old school, people playing like certain styles of music, because people are like, oh, Jimi Hendrix is like, they can play Jimi Hendrix, like whatever. It's like, yeah, but can you? Like, yeah, exactly. Can you touch the soul at all, or are you just gonna play like try to find the exact way he did it, or are you gonna have your head back and feel it and show the crowd that you are in that mode? Make them believe it. That's such a difference.
Scholastic multiple times on the show over the years, and every time you say it, I just think of the Scholastic book club in school, where I was just...
You're gonna say like weird kind of elastic stuff.
No. Where you got your certain amount of money, you're gonna go get like a pencil with like a dragon eraser and a fucking Goosebumps book or something.
Oh,
I always wanted to like Bobo, dude. I had no money all the time going in there.
Oh, I know. Like one Goosebumps book, you're like, I got a Goosebumps book, I'm good. Like, the book fair.
I'm gonna hold it like I'm gonna get it, and then not.
Show it to all your friends.
We're like, talking about like record digging and shit. I think that really actually is the early child version of that, dude, because there's definitely times where I had an idea because I looked through the manual. This is what I'm going to go for. And then you show up and that book isn't there. And you're like, fuck, dude. The same exact feeling you would get going to Amoeba and be like, I got Decapited's Winds of Creation.
Winds of Change. You got five Scorpions.
That would be actually a sick cover, dude.
I think that's pretty much my only claim to fame in life. Was I was like a street team kid in my 14, 15, 16.
Too. I was,
and I got for earache. No, so I got Winds of Creation like 6 months before it came out, and it was just, and it's gone now. It was a black album, like for promo purpose only, and I was like, sick. I had to like promote it, and then like I was listening to it, and like, this is crazy, but like yeah, couldn't Slipknot of this shit, but this is insane. At the time, I'm like, well, Korn, but I don't understand what the fucking...
Decapitated was one of your like first dives into extreme metal.
Yeah, it was.
I don't
for
know
sure.
If we've ever really actually said that.
Well, I was like on Napster, maybe pre-Napster, but I downloaded Kill the Christian by Deicide. So Deicide was like, I would just show it to my friends to be like, check out the, like, oh, you listen to that? Check this out. It was kind of like a one-up thing. I was like, check this out, dude. This is way sicker than Slayer, dude. Check. I was like, I was just trying to like make people shocked. Was kind of the thing, like, because we were always trying to find the one cooler, more extreme thing as a kid. And once I found Kill the Christian, which was, when back in the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s, that was not okay to just say it loud. That was not. Now it's like you can say that all day, dance around saying Kill the Christian. But like back then, it was like that was the market that was kind of like shutting down a lot of extreme music or anything with like, Al Gore's wife. People were going like, oh no, explicit whatever. Like, and I like was like, I found the thing that was like, fuck everything. I was like, and then like my favorite was going to like country bars. I would go to country bars and like put a bunch of like country songs on, and then I would just end it with Kill the Christian. And then watch it just scroll on the thing. Just like, it's all Deicide, Kill the Christian. And they're like shooting bull, like with cowboy hats on. They're like looking around.
I love that.
Oh, it's such pleasure. And they see me laughing. They're like, let's fucking kill the not Christian over there. but no, anyways, like back cuck party. What's up with that?
I want to actually, Micah. I want to take a turn real quick in your timeline, dude. I want to know when the fine jewelry thing came in.
So that came about after moving up here to Mount Shasta.
That's right.
Well, back up to leaving Origin. So, like, by the time I got to Origin, my drinking over decades had gotten really bad. Mm-hmm. So, like, I ended up actually quitting Origin in a blackout after our last European tour. Wow. Right after signing, we just signed a Nuclear Blast. I put my name on the thing. It was like achieved my dream. But I was, you know, I had this hole in me. I was drinking myself to death.
Yeah.
So yeah, I called them, you know, in a blackout, feeling like, you know, their other singer left because of drugs and alcohol, whatever, and I'm gonna end up fucking the band over, so I might as well fucking
nip it in the bud. And
after I did that, I ended up, that was like it. I lost everything. Got really suicidal. Actually drove out to Bixby Bridge in Big Sur and stood on the edge of Bixby Bridge looking 200 feet down at the rocks, chugging a bottle of vodka, trying to drink myself off that bridge. And so anyway, I ended up moving up here to get sobered up.
So wait, no. You can't.
What pulled you off though? What pulled you off?
Joel's on my wavelength. That we can't leave that. You dropped the bomb. We got to know. So what got you to step away from that bridge?
So, well, finally, I guess somebody called the highway patrol, and they stopped traffic and walked up, and they're like, "Will you please step down?" And it was kind of, you know, another fight or flight, dude. Like, make a decision, either end it or you got to fucking get down.
Can you recall, you know, something in your mind that happened to make you make the decision to step down?
So I wanted to live, dude. Truly, deep down inside, I wanted to live. You know, that's why I was trying to drink myself off. I couldn't just go up there and jump.
Right.
There was something inside me that knew I wanted to continue experiencing life. And I'm so fucking glad I did, right?
Oh, dude.
Us too.
Yeah. So I ended up getting down. They took me to the mental hospital, which I escaped from in like 20 minutes. And about 2 weeks later, I was probably going to head back to that bridge. So I ended up turning myself back into the hospital.
Damn.
Okay.
And
so then you turn yourself in and you got the right treatment in there.
Yeah, got sobered up, went through the DTs like hardcore, like hallucinating fucking spiders all everywhere and fucking flies all over the walls, and people were there that weren't there. I was hearing rap music come out, which I hated. And I was hearing it come out of the walls. So I thought they were doing weird fucking experiments on me and shit. It was it was pretty gnarly. I mean,
was it only alcohol? Was it only alcohol that was the
and
you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but
no, I don't mind talking about it at all. Okay. Pills too, Norco at the time, but it was mainly the amount I was drinking. At that time, I was drinking like a half gallon a day, barely eating any food. So stopping that all at once, like
that's bad, dude.
Yeah, it was
it's
could have killed
bad in the sense that obviously you're stopping for a good reason, but that you hear that alcohol is something that you actually have to truly wean yourself off of.
It's one of the few you can die from. Like, you know, I've heard, you know, heroin
dependent. Yeah,
heroin, meth, all that kind of shit. You'll feel like you want to die, but you
won't actually.
You can stay off of it, but booze you can have. I've had seizures and shit like that too.
Damn. How many years were you drinking? Like, so it must have been like a daily drinking habit for how many years?
Fuck, since I was, so at the time I was like 30. I've been drinking pretty heavily since like 16.
Yeah. Like mostly daily.
Yeah. Dude, by the time I was 17, we had me and Gator and Jeff, you know, my first band, I was drinking like, we were going through a half gallon a day. I'd black out 5 days of the week. Wouldn't know fucking what would happen. I'd wake up with bruises and cuts. And so, yeah, that was
actually, like, that's wild to hear, dude. You know, it's in a sense that there are so many examples of you being creative, being an artist live or in the studio, you know, but there's still this other thing that's going on outside of that, but you're still capable of executing like the art, you know. Isn't that weird how you could be like, this is how I was, and these are the blackouts that I had, yet here's all these relics, these physical examples of something that I achieved. And you know, talking about being on tour and blacking out and all that stuff. It's like it's weird to think that we all strive to be a part of this and make things, but you know, you could get into a position like that where you're also dependent on a substance of whatever, and it kind of is opposite of what you're trying to do. You want to try and make memories, yet this thing is taking memories away. There's all these crazy things that are happening in that combination. I mean, right now I'm a little buzzed talking to you on this show. We're trying to be creative and make this thing that's somewhat entertaining to enough dudes that are going to watch it. And I probably don't remember most of these shows. And I sit back and I think, I'm like, it's definitely the alcohol that's the main culprit in all of these stories, you know?
Yeah, but you know, a lot of the people I played music with, toured with, everybody partying, but like, dude, I had a lot.
You're the maniac too.
But I was like, dude,
you're the maniac.
On the European tour, I mean, it gotten to where I was like, I'd have to get booze when we'd show up to the venue because of free booze, and hide some in the bunk because I knew when I woke up in the morning I'd be like shaking, and you know, and then get up that next day, drink enough to feel good, get up and do a kick-ass show, but not get too drunk to fuck up the show. So it was this constant balance
that you're trying to do.
And it sucks because, like I said, dude, here I am touring with Suffocation, Dying Fetus, Black Dahlia, you know, like, and Origin. I mean, these are guys I idolized.
Right.
And I don't think anybody really knew it was that bad because, you know, I've been doing it for so many years. It was like, this is what I do.
The dudes that probably have a real problem are very good at hiding it.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I just, while I'm experiencing the best thing in my life, I had this fucking hole inside of me that I just could not fill.
Yeah.
So it was a duality that was really, really painful.
So
like I said,
talk about you mentioned quitting Origin in a blackout. Let's talk about that you know, everybody who has a problem like that, everybody talks about the, you know, hitting rock bottom. So let's hear that rock bottom story, dude. You've already given us quite a bit. I kind of want to know that rock bottom story for you.
Well, that was probably rock bottom.
The bridge, probably the bridge.
Well, no, I mean that came.
What the fuck, dude?
I mean, that sounds pretty rock bottom, like you're about to lose your life.
Yeah. Well, and I grew up with a bipolar mom who was, you know, suicide attempts and everything, and I had been suicidal in the past, but not to that extreme. But So I had at the time I lost the girlfriend, fucking lost the job, lost everything, and then when I lost my dream, when I self-destructed that,
it's the pile
that was rock bottom, dude. That was like I have literally nothing to live for.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I said, deep down inside, I wanted to.
There was the will, yeah.
And and a shout out to Paul, and I haven't really talked to him ever since then. I've talked to John. I think I might even talk to Mike. I don't know that I've talked to Paul really. I feel really bad for that. I mean, we were just about to record the next album. Me and Paul were working on all that. I know it really threw a wrench into shit for them.
Well, I mean, if you really
given me such a fucking opportunity, and I felt, I really let them down, but
enough time
go on.
passed from that. Obviously, Origin moved forward from that, but
I
think now that it would actually be good for you to maybe just hit up Paul and be like, "Hey, dude, this is where I was at that time." You don't even have to do that. I'm just saying now that you brought that up, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool for you to just make amends and be like, yo, I'm a different person now. Like that was a darker time in my life. And now look at, not only look at it, but I'm not that same person.
Oh, not at all. Yeah.
I believe me, dude. Like I said, I was a silent voyeur of what you're doing right now. And I actually, you're somebody that I follow that I may not comment or react to what I see, but I make note of what you're doing, and I applaud it because I do kind of remember hearing or knowing about this, not specifically the bridge incident or whatever, but I just know that through you, or I think it definitely was through you, because you've definitely been open about this on your social media, how you had this past and how you're grateful for how you are now. I mean, being a dad and definitely with the health and the spirituality thing, I think that you're definitely, that bridge incident was reality shaker for you, and you took that opportunity and made it something great versus
and I can look back on that. I can look back on that experience now in almost a positive way. It was a catapult to change my life, and it took a while. So I moved up. You're talking about jewelry. I moved up here in 2010 and started trying to get sober, and it took a while. A few days. On the 10th, I'll have I've been sober now continuously for 7 years, but
damn,
congrats, I bounced around back and forth quite a bit, but slowly my life got a lot better, and there was a lot less drinking over that time, and so I started working with my uncle here at this shop, and
so uncle on the mom's side or dad's side?
My mom's brother.
Okay.
And
so was he doing that while you were a kid too? Is that something that he got later?
Yeah, he's been he just retired. 30 years with this business and 15 years down in Monterey before that. So
wow,
he's an amazing jeweler, and so I was able to get in and apprentice with him. So I still get to work with metal. But,
hell yeah, dude! Heavy metal for life, dude.
But yeah, and now he retired, and I've kind of filling in his spot here, and now it's my time to shine doing this thing.
So let's get into what it is to be a fine jeweler, because it's obviously precision and quality. Art. I'm wearing a chain. I got a few bracelets and rings on right now. I'm into art as jewelry as well, dude. And I'd love to know what it's like to be in that field, dude, because some of the stuff that I wear is inspiring to know that somebody handmade it, what's that like, and what is your specialty?
Well, I think you nailed it on the head. Is it's art. I get to do art for a living, right? I get to create art, and I've been that way. Whether it was music or drawing as a kid, I got into doing special effects makeup for a while. So I love creating things.
Hell yeah.
And that's the main part. It's something I continuously fall in love with. But yeah, dude, I do repair work, repair jewelry, make wedding rings, custom jewelry. Customers come in with an idea and get to bring it to life. But it's fine jewelry, gold, diamonds, rubies. It's
dude, I'm and this is literally coming up in the moment right now. I think that we're gonna talk after this because I might want to commission a Cali Death podcast ring, dude.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I think that would be rad as shit. I love silver. I love sterling silver. So if we could do like a sterling silver Cali Death podcast theme ring, I'll fucking rock the shit out of it, bro.
We can make it happen, man.
Hell yeah.
But
Nate's like, what the fuck are these guys talking about, dude?
Where the fuck did this thing go?
I'm listening. I've bought jewelry from Mica for my wife before.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I bought a silver ring. I think it was silver. It was an Ouroboros. It was pretty cool. It's like snake eating itself ring.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
White gold. Yeah.
Ouroboros or whatever how you say it.
I'm getting married this year, so I mean, I spent the money on the big rock or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
the
band
might be made in Shasta. I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I bought this right now. I'm wearing a ring just because, like, I feel like I don't know, because guys are like the biggest pieces of shit versus women. I'm just gonna say it. And like when you put a ring on a woman, it's like, you can't do anything because you're engaged now.
Yeah, you're like
we just get to wear like nothing. We're like, oh, what's up? So I was like, I'll buy an Amazon ring. I'm just like, I'll show respect to show that I'm not like just be like, oh, I got nothing on my finger. You like
wait until your wedding, then your wedding ring, then that's when
then like you hear about all those stories about people going on like bachelor parties and like, well, I only fucked like 9 strippers. You're like, well, why are you getting fucking married, dude? like what is it? Jesus, I just dropped a bunch of stuff. But why are you getting like what's the purpose of you getting married if you're gonna go out and do the bachelor party and strip, like do the strippers and like put your wiener in a stripper? It's like, dude, like I feel like the women are just like, oh, we got you as our property, and like shut up.
And I'm not
get married.
Like, oh,
men are just like, no, whatever, no ring, we're good. We're just a free ring, no ring person. So I was like, Amazon hit up this like $18 ring, and I was like, I'll put it on just to like show that I'm just like, you have to go through the same fucking thing. Like, why the fuck?
My bachelor party was my brother and my cousin at a sushi restaurant. That was my bachelor party, dude.
That's awesome.
Literally the 3 of us.
Yeah, Nate, what was it?
Sake all night and fucking eating crazy shit. The bachelor party aspect was you eat the lobster's head, and I was like, all right, I gotta eat the lobster's head, dude.
Nate, what was your bachelor party?
Oh, Jesus! And you're just like, dude, this is fucking, fuck the strippers, dude. I'm fucking.
Whoa! Don't fuck the strippers, dude. Jesus, that's the point behind this.
I'm saying
the Cali Death.
Get them out of
fuck the
itinerary. There's no strippers in the itinerary. I mean, now I guess
my bachelor party was just eating at Joe's of Westlake with my dad and brother. It was same thing. I just wanted to get out. We did a really inexpensive wedding that was still like nice. If you book through like the California State Park System, Joel, this is a tip here, you can get like a fat venue for hella cheap. They only charge you like $1,200, and you can get fat. So we got married in a mansion in San Francisco. That's my wife's favorite architect. Had a piano player that was like $300, and I said, play something like Tigran Hamasyan. He's like, what?
He's a Tigran Namasi.
He goes, don't you want like fun songs? I was like, yeah, like Tigran and like,
that's fun. I mean, Nate actually,
not for the
again,
audience,
another artist that Nate has turned me on to, sitting in
me
that
too,
room that he's in right now. I was
Dude,
sitting on that couch
He's going to
right
Berkeley?
there when he put on Tigran, and I was completely floored.
No, I had to hit up Nate because I hit up Nate later. I like messaged him like, "What was that guy you're talking about?" And I went and followed him on Instagram and like got to watch his piano, like what he's working on and stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, fucking Christ,
nuts.
Alien.
Something that still stays with me right now.
Yeah, it's like what's his name? What's the guitar player that you guys love?
Whatever it is.
You know, the guitar player, the guy that had the headless guitar player. What's his name? The guy that's the big chords.
Alan Holdsworth.
Alan Holdsworth. He reminds me of like a Holdsworth pianist.
Dude, he reminds me of like Meshuggah a lot. He's very catchy. what I like about Tigran is he's jazz, but he's catchy. He's real modern.
Yeah,
he's heavy as balls too. It's just so
is heavy in his music.
Was that
like syncopated?
Aspect.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool too, if you really listen to it like on headphones, and I've seen him live enough to see as he plays, he like sings as he plays. He goes like, so you can hear on the recording, he's just like mumbling to himself the entire time, just like because that dude just music pours out of that guy, and it's so exciting to see like somebody at that caliber of musicianship. It's he's a lightning bolt of sounds. It's amazing.
Everything's really amazing about him. If we're gonna take away one thing, just because I mentioned that album that you had turned me on to, what is it, Mook Root or Mock Root, or how do you? Is that what it is?
Mock Root.
Just a black, gray, and white type cover. Almost looks black metal in a sense. Check that out, listeners, if you haven't yet. You want to hear some brain churning jazz piano.
Just some shit, really.
It's not
interesting. It keeps you excited the whole time. It's not like a lot of people I've heard say they don't like jazz, or like it sounds like elevator.
Armenian? Is that what he is? I forget where he's from. I think it's Armenia, or I might be wrong.
It's like I think he's from Mexico.
No, he's definitely out there. I think it's Armenian. If I might be fucking up. I'm sorry if I am, but I thought it was somewhere where I had not really heard too many artists from before that too, and I kind of like to stick my needle in the map of places that I've heard music from. You know,
he is Armenian. Yeah.
Boom, got it. All right.
Yeah. And you
still
can
in the arsenal, guys. All the weed, it still stays up here as long as I keep this beanie on in the winter.
That beanie was still like, isn't it? He from the same place as like System of a Down or something.
He fucked with Surge.
I mean, how?
There's an album with Tigran and Surge.
That's cool. That's awesome.
I think it's Jazz is something, but Serge. I don't know how you fucking say it. SERJ, right? That's how his
Surge. Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Whatever.
I can't do it. It's not.
You can't do it
either way.
Racist.
It's the race.
No, I guess I can't listen to System of a Down anymore, guys. I can't say the name right.
The vocal.
I mean, no, System of a Down. I mean, for their time, the song "Sugar" was such a fucking fucked up song,
dude. It was
as a kid though. You're listening to it like, this sucks. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, this sucks. Like Blind and Limp Bizkit are so much better.
I was the opposite feeling.
Well, like, you're right. Joel Blind is better.
I mean,
it is.
Better.
Cold Chamber had a whole career off of it. No, I understand.
If I'm gonna, we're gonna be honest. Toxicity is better than any Korn album to me, bro. Sorry.
Get out.
I'm with Nate on that. I'm with Nate.
But I also listen to weirder shit still to this day, so of course my taste would be a little weird, but I think that I have a bigger connection to Toxicity.
Dude, you're blind, dude. You're blind to like what's going on, dude.
I can see.
Dude, fucking go eat some chop suey, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Chop Suey. Actually, no. Did you hear the? There's a story with Rick Rubin on the song Chop Suey, which was called Suicide in the beginning, where Serge was like couldn't. It's on YouTube. He couldn't figure out what to do after a certain part, and he had a big bookshelf, and Rick Rubin's like, grab one of the books, just grab one of the books, and the first thing you see, we'll work on it. And it was why have you forsaken me? And that was just what he picked out of the fucking massive books, and he just grabbed it and sang it. And it's probably like the biggest part of that song, Chop Suey. But it wasn't like, but it worked with the song and lyric wise. But he was like stuck. And Rick Rubin's like, he's obviously he's not like a big, like, doesn't know about music theory. He doesn't know stuff, but he would just be like, he's like a fucking shaman. He just goes like, hey, go over here, look. All right.
Good thing they didn't pick up Everybody Farts, dude. That would have been a way different song.
Everybody Farts.
Rick Rubin had that great documentary with Paul McCartney too, where it was just him and Paul McCartney like listening to all the old Beatles songs. And like you said, he's not a musician, so hearing Rick Rubin just talk about music is always fun because he comes from a perspective almost as a listener. What are they going to get out of it when they listen to it for the first time?
Exactly.
How to play it. So is it exciting, or what does it evoke out of you?
Actually, I had something I wanted to ask you, because I've talked about this with multiple people after our podcast together. But we were talking about the music law part of the Beatles going into court. Remember, you talked about the whole thing, right?
Well, George Harrison specifically.
George Harrison.
Yeah.
So was it? So if you, I don't know if you're like, if you know the law of it. I don't know the law of it, but if they're like playing the same song in a different key, is that fraudulent? Like if they go like a half step?
It can be. It depends on like the BPMs and the intervals between your notes, because they look at it like a 1-3-5 type change. Like
not a key, but a 1-3-5.
It's not a key. It's what does the change progress like, and where the vocals fit in with that. So they start looking at it as a whole, and they also determine like, where did you write it from, which is what they did for like with George Harrison when he's playing My Sweet Lord in front of the jury. They're like, well, how did you come up with that riff? And he's like, well, I'm playing around with these things, and then I started moving into this. So it shows his writing process. So they look at it like, did you directly sit there and say, that thing, I'm stealing that riff from you, or did you just happen upon it? It's in the air.
Because you remember Joe Satriani sued Coldplay. And that's where I was at IKEA with my fiance and we were talking about this. So Joe Satriani sued Coldplay for a song, and I remember us both listening to it and going like, it's close, but it's like, how do you sue for it? Like, and I remember the George Harrison comment we were talking about on your podcast. Like, I don't know how. I mean, Joe Satriani lost, but I don't really know how you present that in court.
There's some people that have won too. Like John Lennon actually got sued by Chuck Berry, and oddly enough, it's one of the most famous Beatles songs. It's straight up a direct ripoff of Chuck Berry, and it's Come Together. It's he come on flat up, he come grooving up slowly, he come. The Chuck Berry song is he come on flat up, he come grooving up slowly, he come. It's just
that's pretty close. I don't know.
Pretty close.
It was like, yeah, you stole my song straight up, and John Lennon was kind of like, yeah, I kind of did. No shit. They ended up paying him out for that. So that's
is that ego? They can't admit that they're just giving a nod to Chuck Berry in that point. Like,
well, I think they're being creative at the time. I think they're being.
No, I didn't. It was.
No, I think they're being. It's like a comic. It's a comic, Anthony. I feel like they have it in their head, and they don't know they have it in their head, and they're writing, and they're just like, oh, let me just throw. It's like a joke.
Dude, the Cat Williams thing. Let's talk about the Cat Williams thing real quick, guys. I'm sorry, we're going into the deep end right now. So that weird thing that he had on the Club Sway interview that he had, where he just capped fools through the whole entire thing, like Cedric the Entertainer, he's a joke thief. Like, then there's videos, and you look at the joke, and you're like, dude, there's only two parts that are different. even
couple
including
words.
the physical aspect of the joke, there's still similar things in there. So there's like parallel thought, and then there's just no denying like blatant plagiarism.
And there's also things when you look at it like how much money is tied to what is happening here too. Because
Exactly.
You know, if somebody steals
Carlos Mencia, no one would have gone after him if he didn't make any money. But he was on Comedy Central, and he had stole a bunch of jokes.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do something new right now?
Oh, Nate's talking right now.
No, I'm sorry, but to Quinn
Nate was in the middle of us.
I'm sorry, guys, but we will set it up until Nate. Hold that just for a second. I just want to lay this out there.
I have to piss really bad, and I was excited to hear what Nate had to say.
This is really
listen to this guy's song. To Quinn Gods. He wants us to react to a song right now.
No, I know. Cool, we'll do it later. But fucking Nate was talking.
I never said to lose that. I didn't say we were going to do that right now.
Let's fight on it.
Hold that. Do we do it or not? Because we'll just start with Nate.
We could do it in a little while if we want. But Nate was he was talking all sick, and I was excited.
Nate knows I'm not gonna let him stop there. I want him to keep going. I just wanted to say, do we want to do that?
Don't let our children fight. Let's see us fight in front of them. I'm just kidding. No, I was really excited about what Nate would. I mean, we could do that in a little while, for sure. Whatever, True and Gods.
So Joel doesn't want to listen to your band, guys.
Yeah, I don't. I want to hear what Nate has to say about what he was about to say.
I'm so excited lost right now. I have no idea.
Damn it, Anthony.
But
okay, all right. Was it
if
really?
You wanted me to finish my thought? I could do that. If
yes, that's what I want.
Finish your thought.
Stealing stuff is all tied to money, right? If somebody steals one of my riffs, in another death metal band, it's kind of like, that sucks. Whatever.
Thank you.
If Metallica steals one of my riffs, I'm kind of like, hey, bro, how much money did you take off that riff, dude?
Exactly.
So I think the same thing for comedians and all that entertainment business is, if they made a shitload of money off somebody's idea, like George Harrison stealing your song, that dude's going to make way more money off your riffs. It's just
totally
because of who he is. So
he's like you're like a struggling musician. He's like, I want to add like another part of my mansion, like over here off your song, and you're like, dude, I'm struggling.
My sweet Lord. But I think.
You said, can you talk about that video? Because I remember the last time we were talking, you said that video. There was like a video of him playing in court or something, right?
Yeah.
No, there's the story of him playing in court. He had to play My Sweet Lord because he got sued by the Shirelles, I believe, something like that. The Shirelles, and the song sounds just like My Sweet Lord. So they basically told him play the chord changes, play how you wrote it, and
he had to show how he got to that.
Yeah, like how did you do it? Did you directly steal from it? If you listen to like interviews,
if you had no proof of getting to that chord progression or whatever, then they could use that against you if you're in court. But if he shows like, all right, I started playing with this stuff, and then it moved me into this direction, and then I got to this, and then boom, now we got this chord progression right here.
That's where lawyer shit gets off the chains, because it's like a lot of people like that are go to comedy, like they hear a joke, they're like, oh, it's funny, I see what he did with the correlation there, and then they are writing and they're like, oh, this subject, oh, I use this correlation, and they do it on stage, and they got it from over here, but then they used it over here, and they forgot that they heard it, and they're just like saying it, or they plagiarized. But it's kind of like when I hear a riff or something, or I hear a drum beat, I'll start writing a riff, or like feeling a riff, and then I'll write the riff, and I'm like, I've heard that riff before. God damn it, it's already programmed in my brain. But I feel like that has to go with the beat, and then I'm like, all right, well, I can't do that now. I have to change all of that, and it's because with musicians and stuff, we're hearing cool riffs all the time, and we're jamming out, not even thinking about it. We're just like, it's in our brain. It's like stuck in our brain. And then if a drum beat comes along, you kind of like could do that same riff, without even thinking it's your own artistic move on a drum beat. But then you're like, oh, my brain recalled something, brought it down to my fingers, and now I'm playing it.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, Micah, what do you think about Joel just said?
Yeah.
Did we follow any of it?
No, I know what he's saying, because I've been playing music again, just locally, just for fun, and I think the brain gets inspired. Like I hear that all the fucking time, and I've done the same things too. It's just like, no, that's too fucking close. Even if it's a little different, but I'm like, no, that's too close. Like.
Yeah.
Somebody hears that and they're gonna go, "Oh, I know where he got that." So it's like,
there's a lot of riffs nowadays I hear from bands, and I'm like, "Oh, what song is that from?" And I'll like Dan Kenny hit me up a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, and was like, "Dude, this riff, where have you heard this before?" And we like narrowed it down and found it.
What's funny is
in
that
another
me and
band,
him were doing the same thing at the same time. So
It
I'm
happens.
Yeah.
riff, and he's just
I
like,
feel
"Where
like
is this from?"
when I'm writing, I'm more hyper aware of trying not to listen to a lot of stuff, especially metal stuff, because I don't actually want to be influenced by a lot of things and have that. Because like you said, it's in the air sometimes. You hear something and then 2 months passes and you think you're like, oh shit, that's a cool idea I have or a vibe I have, and it ends up being the same thing. But when I was first playing music, I would always be so aware of when a riff sounded like another band. And it really tailored how I play. Like, can't do that. They did this. They did that. And you always try to find something that no one did, which isn't fucking possible.
It's impossible now, but it's still the feeling of, when you write a riff or write a certain thing, that feeling of, oh, I haven't really heard something like this. Although it may be deceiving when you're in that moment, it's still something that's like a rejuvenating, like energizing thing, to where you're like, all right, I made something that doesn't sound like anybody in this moment. I can't recall anything that is like this. That's a good feeling, dude. That's
until you found out, until you hear a riff that you heard exactly like yours, like fuck.
Well, it's funny.
We all have that. Oh, dude, fuck, that's a Gorgasm riff. Fuck, that's a fucking.
It's really funny how like metal is too, though. Like when, again, having my wife's perspective, she listens to metal, but it's kind of a different metal scene, and she listens to like noise music and jazz music and R&B music. She hears how nitpicky we are. Like, no, that's like tech death over here, and this is prog and all that stuff. But to the outside person, it's kind of like, well, you're all playing distorted guitars. You all have fast bass drums, and you have a guy screaming over here about death themes and stuff. So like the nuance, you're thinking of like, are they really that different? I'm like, yeah, it's about justice though, because Meshuggah is different than Car Bomb, but they do the same thing. So like, we're insane with metal.
That is a funny thing to bring up, because that's when you hear someone that has like that outside perspective of not your perspective, where you're like, no, dude, it's like didn't. Like it's way different. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's the same, dude.
like Meshuggah is so nuanced, because a lot of it's open polyrhythmic things. So that exactly change of da or da it changes the whole thing. Like
whole thing. You're all what?
It's after the 4, dude. It's after the 4. So, like, we're insane. That's all there's to it.
Yeah, I think we're just crazy people.
We're literally crazy people that are sane enough to talk about how crazy we are.
Yeah, and I can talk about metal for hours, and we have. And I could. Anyone that has that interest, automatically, you're like, sick. We can talk about stuff for a long time, because we have that same passion. And somebody wrote, yes, Meshuggah is all 4/4. I roger that. Trust me.
I mean, there's a 4/4 pulse in there for sure. Yeah,
but it's after the 4 is in the and of 4 or the of 4.
But you're telling the truth, dude, because I mean, we jump through so many social hoops quickly in this thing, like to the point where I haven't seen Mica in years, accidentally video call him, and we're just like chatting at work, like, oh, dude, yeah, dude, what's going on? You know, like fucking, it's like no different than it was years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't talked to Micah in a while either. So, Micah.
And speaking of Meshuggah, I'm bummed I didn't see you, Nate.
Yeah, I was there.
Nate didn't go to a Meshuggah show?
You were going to be there, but because I'm not really a Meshuggah fan, but like I will not listen to him outside of a show.
I understand that. I understand both.
But
yeah.
I actually really enjoy them live. I got to see them in Europe at what was it, Mountains of Death, and I was like, oh, dude, these guys are actually fucking sick. But then I try and listen to them while I'm at the gym, and I'm just like, just doesn't do it for me. They're one of those bands that I've got to see live.
What does it for you in the gym then?
Oh, what have I been listening to lately?
What's gotten you the most? You hit your.
I have to pee really bad, but I want to know.
Go for it, dude.
Lately, Borknagar is like hands down like my favorite band probably ever now.
Hell yeah!
I actually fucking love their new stuff. Their last couple albums have been phenomenal. I mean, I love Quintessence is what really got me into them, but their last couple albums, and then recently. I just got into Cattle Decapitation. Their last album really pulled me in. I never listened to them. I don't know what it was. Like when they first came out, there was a whole like vegan thing about them, and like they were like capitalizing on that. And some reason that like turned me off to them. Yeah. And I never really listened to them, but their latest album that came out, now I've been going back through their catalog.
Mm-hmm. Their trajectory has been something really crazy if you look at it from start to finish. And
I really dig what Travis is doing with his vocals and stuff is sick.
Dude, dude. As a vocalist, you look at that dude and you're like,
all the time. Like,
what do I need to do?
Cattle Decapitation opened for everyone at the Pound for like years.
I know, like, isn't that crazy?
Years. I remember seeing him all the time. The dude was spitting all over himself, and they didn't sound like they do now, though. Too like they got the new drummer.
I looked at Cattle as the same kind of level of like Exhumed and kind of these always present bands in these tours and stuff that would come through the Pound, and you just figured, oh, Vulgar Pigeons or Severed Savior, all these random local acts would jump on these shows. Cattle, I didn't even realize was from SoCal because they were on so many Pound shows.
Yeah.
That I thought that they were more local NorCal, but no, they're San Diego.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we came across Cattle so much in the early years, but Cattle was definitely very prominent in those early years of the Pound for sure.
Yeah, they played all the time. I saw them
all the time, dude.
But they don't sound like they do now. They got way more precise and like faster, and the drummer is just a monster now. And I think vocally they got better, and so they're kind of a different band now. So I agree that Cattle album is the money, but Meshuggah is the money, Micah. They're just the best band in the world. That's all there is to it.
I love Meshuggah in the sense that I get into a meditative state when I'm
very trance-like.
That's what they are, right?
When I'm listening to them, and actually even live more so. When you see that band with the right sound system, the right energy of the crowd, there is this involuntary trance state that happens in those crowds that I definitely appreciate the feeling of that, to be a part of like something bigger. And that's, even though I'm not contributing to the music, I'm not doing anything, but you get like roped into this, like I'm a part of this giant blob of this amoeba of energy that's happening, and
actually a
I'm
pretty
going
good way
to
to describe it.
contribute in the sense of putting my energy into it, and you eventually like involuntary.
Yeah, they're just super
Movement
primal.
happening.
You know, that's like
It's
it's
primal.
all rhythm based. So you get a primal mentality as soon as you see it live. You
100%.
feel that 4/4 because they really do that. And if you really just want to feel that 4/4 and simplify it, it's awesome. If you want to get in the weeds of what they're doing, it starts getting more awesome, I think, too. But if you just want to appreciate it from that distance level, I think it's perfect for that too, which is why I think they're genius. They're complex, veiled in simplicity. They're respected by jazz musicians. They've reinvented their sound from like thrash, jazz, Metallica to whatever that 8-string shit they made to invent a new sound of gent and all that. Now they invented that shit, and now they're kind of they're delving more into they're simplifying it even more, which I actually think their early stuff's better, but they're like in their 50s still making new material that is exciting in some way that I can still listen to and be like, I'm excited to hear this, and there's going to be new ideas on it that I haven't heard. And I don't have that with a lot of bands, especially ones that have been around for 35 years or however long they've been around.
Can I ask you something, Nate? Because I know that you understand Meshuggah on such a deep level, and I try to. I know that 4 is there and stuff, and the like whatever they decide to do there, and the fact that they're all locked in on whatever the fuck random shit they're doing under the 4. How do you count that? Like, I don't understand. So for you to like just cover a song, is it all memorization under the 4, or are you counting in some way?
And that's what's funny. Like, I think people think of Meshuggah differently. I feel it. I don't count a fucking note of it. Like, we covered Meshuggah, Corridor of Chameleons, and I just feel where the pulse is, and I know where I'm hitting on the off and upbeat of it, because it's just such a fat groove to me. And playing with upbeats and downbeats like that I don't know. It's kind of just, it's my thing. I like doing that a lot. So I feel it more. But if you really want to, like, if there's something that's hard to feel, which can happen, they have stuff. Nothing has some things that they start playing with like dotted eighth notes, which those make you feel like, whoa, something's off, like, but they're all together somehow. With those, it's easy to start thinking of them as a repeating pattern, which is super exciting. If they do like a group of 3, a group of 2, a group of 3, and then it will repeat that same 3-2-3 over and over again. But where that 3-2-3 starts is different in context of 4. So if you wanted to just disregard the 4, just go like 3-2-3-3. But a lot of times when people think of Meshuggah like that, they end up rushing or they end up dragging because they don't know where it is. That's the whole thing about it, is did you find where it is, which is what's complex about it. And a lot of people who are like, Meshuggah is easy, it's just a bunch of zeros all over the place. Like,
oh my god, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Just do it.
I even think about
zeros and ones. So easy, dude. Like,
there's videos that I've seen where you and these are actually some of my favorite videos to watch, is live musicians who fall outside of each other, like a guitar player or a bass player that lose themselves, and then they both, you can tell,
try to find the one
at each other to try and find themselves again, and to see the recovery. The recovery
that's a boner.
Standing ovation for me in a band to get the recovery after almost stumbling into a train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, dude.
For sure.
I saw one today recently, and I was just like, yes, chef's kiss, dude. Like, you guys did it.
That's like
you do a total train wreck.
Totally.
Yeah.
Pull it
I saw one
together.
No, I saw one actually 2 days ago. That was from, it was like someone posted a video of death, and Chuck broke a string. It's probably like a video people have seen a bunch, but I saw it for the first time the other day. He was like, "Fuck," ran it back, was like, and did vocals like this for a while. Was like looking back for his fucking guitar constantly, and then they threw it on him, and it was like right in the middle of fucking like a solo of spiritual healing. Like right, I was like, oh, that's like, to me, that's like,
Rutan did that to
that's
me live, dude.
no, me
Rutan broke
too.
a
That's
string and
multiple shit. Yeah,
strung it up
that's what I mean.
and tuned it himself and came back to finish the song. He got it done before the song ended, dude, and he finished the song, and we all were, dude, the sound of that room after that song, because of the recovery, was so much louder than any other response to any other song that night.
Well,
just
three
because-
piece. Yeah, I remember that. It was like a 3-piece. It's like if you're the guitar, so the guitar breaks. Like you have to go, and he did it like restrunging himself, gets it going, blah blah, and it came back right for a part where he had to sing and play guitar, like solo.
It's a bummer, dude. It's as a
Such a
3
pro.
it's a bummer. It's like we've had, like, I use a looper live to like solo and stuff, and if you aren't playing with a good sound system, if you can't hear the loop, you don't know where it is. So sometimes, like, I have no idea what's going on, and the loop's going under other riffs and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, there's a loop playing like in the background of other riffs.
Yeah.
Or the loop is all feedback and I can't tell. And then people are like, it's awful. I'm like, right, it's great. I know.
Actually, going back to Meshuggah real quick. So the reason why I asked this question to a lot of people, I'm learning this right now in my head, is I toured with Veil Maya a bunch. Probably did 3 or 4 tours with them, and they were like obsessed. Meshuggah was like their number one thing. But they had a riff that they called the Lost riff, because there was like a code at the end of the Lost. It was like 169, but there was like a code at the end of the show or something to unlock something, and they made a riff on it, and it was a Meshuggah riff, but they were like, yeah, it's like 16983428476, and they were just going, but it was all 4. They're like 169382446 or whatever the fuck it was.
They're thinking of it clusters of 8th notes or 16th notes, which,
Okay.
like I said, I don't do that. I feel the riff in 4, and I think Meshuggah does too. You can tell with the way they rock out. No one's up there like 3, 2, 3, 4. They're just up there like
No one's counting. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to find the frequency. It's like doing a certain amount of mushrooms and you find the frequency, or something where you find a new kind of way of looking at stuff. And with them, I guess timing has always been felt for me. It's never been counted. Like when I do odd time stuff, it's never been, I'm not counting ever. I just know the feeling. I know. And there's been times with Decrepit, where there's weird timings where we have to, like, we all come in at the same time, and it's like it's not correct in any kind of timing sense. But I'm looking at everyone else like, and then we go in together. It's like it's like there's not an interval in there at all. It's like we decide to come in when we come in, and that wouldn't be. Yeah, we didn't have click tracks. We weren't like, all right, well, yeah. We never dropped in together, but it was just like kind of like a. There's times like Matt would come in super early and be like, fucking asshole, or I'd come in early like, asshole. It was
that lesson that Chaz gave to me as a little kid. He said something that always stuck with me. He said, when you're playing these types of things, it's not about you playing, it's about when you actually aren't playing. That silence is what makes these things tight. If you don't hear someone playing that, and then you all come in with a cha-cham, cha-cham, it's like becomes but if it's loose, now it's like they're sloppy. You can totally hear the difference between Meshuggah and a high school band that's thinking they're playing Meshuggah.
Animosity when we were younger used to do stuff like that. They like do like a quick little stop, but it would be silent in that stop, and then I know that they were on point, and I was like, ooh.
Dying Fetus. I think they got that from Dying Fetus a lot too, because they had those types too, and Decapitated their stops. Meshuggah did it to me in a way that's so heavy still, and that's what I like about them, is they're respected, but they're just balls out heavy screaming. And that if you really want to look at like a cool pattern that's repeating in 4, the mouth licking what you bled on Chaosphere, the final,
it's my favorite album. Chaosphere is my favorite album of them.
It's my favorite album too, and it's probably their harshest album.
Me first,
dude. Me first, bro. I came from Korn to that. That's like
cool. No, I was like 2002 or 3 or 4. My brother showed me that and Calculating Infinity, Dillinger Escape Plan at the same time. He's all
end of the Maniac.
He's all you're into
Nate and Joel arguing about.
No, not arguing because both albums
actually. For real though, to end the Maniac episode, there has to be a Maniac story.
Oh yeah, we need the best Maniac story.
Like best. Mica, the Great American Music Hall.
Yeah. Dude, so when my buddy Ed the Shred, I'll give a shout out to him, hit me up because he's like, "Oh, I saw you're gonna be on the Cali Death Fest." I'm like, this story will probably come out. So yeah, Great American Music Hall. I had drinking a bottle of Jägermeister, and before going to the show, had a couple long, 2 or 3 Long Islands when I got there.
Fuck.
And I told my buddy, I'm like, I'm gonna jump from the fucking balcony tonight. So there's a balcony that wraps around the whole top there.
Joel and I were just there recently in the last.
That's a drop. That's a drop.
Very high.
So I go up there and dove off the first time. I can't remember if I let the crowd know. Somehow I survived it. Pulled it off. I like get up. I walk over to my buddy Ed. I'm like, "Did you see that? That was the sickest thing ever." He's like, "I went and got drinks, dude. I missed it." And I'm like, "I'm gonna do it again."
No, not twice.
I fucking walk back up there. The second time I go to jump, there's that little like ledge that keeps people's beers from falling off.
Yeah.
And my
oh no!
foot hooked on that, and I went straight down onto this couple, and I land on them, and I just hear like, and I shattered 4 of these ribs here, broke them on her or his head, and so I like crawl.
How were they? Real quick, did you ever find out?
What's that?
Did you ever find out how the couple was?
Oh, I have no idea because I didn't have time, dude. I like stood up in severe pain. Security guard dives off the stage, grabs me by my neck, drags me out to the front, and throws me down the stairs.
With broken
out the front. Which I don't blame him, dude. I could have killed somebody easily. It's a body just, you know, they're probably just sitting there watching the show, and all of a sudden, some dude lands on them.
Yeah, that's a Maniac story, dude.
You jumped out of a car.
What's that?
You jumped out of a car with a knife in your pocket. Yeah.
So that was
Nate's leading all the Maniac stories.
So when I was 17. My buddy had just gotten a sick ass Chevy Nova. We're slamming a big bottle of vodka. There was this grassy knoll on the side of Carmel Valley Road that like I'm like one day I'm gonna jump out and do a jujitsu roll on there. And so
one day, dude.
Yeah, so we're driving down this one day and I'm like, fuck it, I'm hammered. I crawl up onto the window. We're doing like 35, 40 miles an hour, and I just dove out. I do the roll. I get up onto my feet, and I'm like, I fucking pulled it off. I see the car kind of driving off to turn around. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I feel kind of dizzy. And I lift up my shirt, and this scar, there was a hole right there. Blood gushing out of where my heart is.
Oh, my God.
I realized, so when I dove out, I had a 6-inch Bowie knife in my leather jacket. And it pierced through the sheath. It went through my ribs, and doctors said it basically kissed my heart, like millimeters from my heart.
Right.
So it went in, I rolled, it pulled these ribs, like these ribs are still overlapped here, next to the ones I broke on those folks' head years later.
I literally was like thinking you were going to land on something in the thing or whatever, but no, you were holding.
The knife you landed on the knife.
Stabbed myself. So then I'm in the hospital and the cops show up and they're like, "Who stabbed you?" And I'm like, "I stabbed myself." And they're like, "Who are you protecting? We won't let them hurt you."
You get put on like a 72-hour notice after that?
Myself. Dude, and this was the most metal thing about that story. I remember you telling me. Was you were wearing your Cannibal Corpse vial and you did
it was the Eaten Back to Life.
Yeah, you were
the one with the ribs like ripped out. I still have that shirt.
Yeah, they were gonna cut the shirt off of you, and you said no, and you took it out over.
Yeah, they had me in the ambulance, and they needed to cut it off to get to the wound. I'm like, fuck no, lift me up and take this shirt off. So when I got out of the hospital, it was a ball of solid blood, and the shirt was just a chunk. But I still have that shirt. Oh yeah,
that's right, dude. I mean, you kind of need to keep that as a reminder of what the maniac is capable of.
Oh, dude, the maniac!
Hey, you're drinking that much? Like, there's stories that you don't remember that are probably not similar, but like insane, probably.
Oh yeah,
I know we've been going a long time,
dude. I've driven several vehicles off cliffs, rolled them over, stuck onto fucking giant boulders.
Sorry, his reaction is the best.
Dude,
that's the story I remember too. You drove your car off a cliff into a tree, and you just climbed down the tree and left the car.
Oh yeah. No seatbelt on either. Both of those times.
Oh my god!
That's what I mean. Car in a tree,
when I was like 15 years old, and hearing these stories, I was just like, dude, the one where your friend jumped off the balcony, taking like 47 hits of acid, and you thought he died, so you called the ambulance, and he went jumping over fences and ran into the ambulance that was called for him.
That was Pablo. I ended up in an ambulance on acid too, flying off a rope swing into a riverbed. Like landed on a giant cement block, took my eyebrow off, gouged a big old hole in my head. So I run back up to the house, and I'm like, luckily I was on acid because otherwise I probably would have knocked out the ground. So I run back into the house. I look in the mirror. I'm on like 10 hits of acid. I'm covered, blood drenched my face. I have cobwebs and dead bugs and spiders and leaves in my hair, dude. I literally thought I was dead. I'm like, I am dead.
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ.
Dude.
We should have just started the episode just being like, dude, we need Mica stories of
3
like
hours
that the
and
whole
15
time.
minutes,
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
wait, there's a whole nother episode of these maniac stories.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
by the
maniac was
time I met Nate, I had mellowed out, dude. I had survived death like 1,000 times by then.
That's what I was gonna wrap it up with, dude, and I think we should because we are at.
Oh yeah, we're getting late. Yeah,
Unless you guys want to keep going, I'm fucking down. It doesn't matter. But I just want to say that there's one thing that I do want to take from this is there's so many more stories that we're gonna giggle at or whatever. But the true thing is you went through all that and you got to a point where it wasn't sustainable,
No, I'd be dead.
Yeah, obviously wasn't sustainable, and you pulled yourself out of that the spiders and fucking dirt and shit all over your face. You pulled yourself out of that, and now what you are today is not that person. So I love your attitude to be able to look back on that and kind of giggle at yourself. And that shows me that you're in a place where you've forgiven that past version of yourself.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I don't regret any of it, dude. It made me who I am today. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be this person I am. I wouldn't have had the experiences I had. I mean, I don't regret a single second of it. I mean, there's a lot of darkness in there, and I don't regret any of that either. Right? That's life. And dude, I just turned 45. I'm in the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, spiritually. Like,
that's what I love, dude.
I'm helping other people in their lives now because of what I've been through.
Yes,
I'm still playing fucking death metal. I have a career now that I get to create art in,
Yeah, dude.
Like you said, being the best dad I can be, dude.
Fuck, dude. I'm just so happy for you, bro. Like, really, you're like making me. I'm getting a little emotional because I'm buzzed right now, but I'm just like, God, yes, dude.
Yeah.
Applause, dude.
And I don't
That's
look
what it is,
down on
dude.
anybody for drinking or smoking or doing whatever. Like, right? That's fucking all good. More power.
Yeah.
I wish I could fucking have a drink while we're doing
One
that.
drink.
But
yeah.
Tomorrow morning, I'd be fucking vomiting,
still drinking
vodka for breakfast. So
yeah.
that's just
totally
just how I had to roll. But yeah, like I said, dude, I don't regret any of it. I love being able to laugh at those stories because I survived them, dude. I shouldn't be here. I really should.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my greatest gifts today is like, I am so excited to be alive every day I get up now because I really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So to have the gift to get up and experience life.
Dude.
Yeah. Dude,
there's so much luck. So much luck involved with you. Like you missed like one fuck up, or you would have been dead when you were hammered. Or like
that.
Yeah, like this close. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the fact that you survived that and got through it, it's like fuck. I mean, it is funny, like because I have those stories too. Like I remember running into suffocation again after not touring them 5 years later, and they're like, Terrence was like, Joel, you were the craziest fucking drinker. And I was like, shit. That's like the worst and best compliment at the same time. They were like, dude, you fucking used to rage with us the hardest of anyone. And I was like, whoa. You've been on tour since I was a little kid.
Right.
I then gnarly, like Terrence going, dude, you're fucking nuts, dude. I was like, was I? Oh shit. Well, I know I can get there. I can get to like a obscene point where people like, I was younger, people like challenged me in drinking. I'm like, whatever, I'll drink like bottles of alcohol. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll survive it,
Right.
and then surviving that, and then being like, all right, well, I noticing, understanding that people their bodies take alcohol in completely differently than one body takes. They have a couple drinks and they're just like fucking nuts, and they're cussing out, they're calling their mother, whatever the fuck they do. They're out of their mind, and then and it's all alcoholics are different, and they all kind of like do a different dance, but at the same time, it's really empowering to hear a story where you got to see the fucking gnarliest shit, and then you came out of it through luck. There's a lot of luck in there, coming out of it and telling stories and helping other people. That's great.
There is a lot of luck, but there was still that drive to live in there that never.
Yeah, you could have jumped right off. You could have just not even thought about it and just jumped. But you had that.
Mike, I just want you to know there's always somebody pulling for you over here in San Francisco.
Hell yeah, dude. We're always here.
Where you're at, man. And
I got to get down there one of these days, man.
Absolutely.
Dude, I love Shasta too, dude. I'd love to hit you up, take the kids out to Shasta.
Yeah, do Metal in the Mountains again. Dude,
yeah,
the Metal in the Mountains. It was amazing.
Yeah, that festival's no longer. That park finally said too many people. It got too big.
Dude, it was probably Ontogony's best show. There was a ton of people there, and it was a super fun weekend in Shasta, playing with like the mountain as your backdrop. It was like, this is tight. I can do this a lot. This sounds fun. So get it back, Mike.
Well, yeah, we'll get you back up here. I got a new band coming together, Shadow of the Elk. So we're gonna hopefully.
Oh yeah,
is that the one I saw you jamming with in
that
video?
Yeah. A lot of black metal, death metal. We're like, I don't know, just playing whatever fucking feels good. I'm not the best guitar player in the world, but I love fucking playing. It's in my blood. So.
And dude,
that's awesome, man.
Your 14-year-old daughter's getting into metal and shit, so she's gonna see dad still doing it. And,
that's why I'm here. My dad watching my dad play bass as a kid. I'm like, sick, dude. Like I didn't want to play bass, but I was like,
it's definitely you don't realize it, but it's gonna be an influence, dude. If you guys have a good relationship,
and she's getting me to go to shows again too. So
awesome. That's super cool, dude.
Talks about Mike you always ask, how's Mica doing? My dad loved Mica, which is always super stoked. Me and Mica used to just get trashed after rehearsals when I was like 15, 16 years old too.
Dude, Shasta's only 2.5 hours from Sac. It says right here. So
yeah, about 3 hours.
Dude, I do that daily. I do that weekly. So, I mean, I'd love to take.
Yeah, he's moving to Rockland.
Dude. Yeah. I wonder. Actually, Rockland might be closer. I don't even know.
It's way closer to the fucking. It's way more north than Sacramento. But yeah, fucking. A lot of people are moving out of this town, and I understand. Shasta and stuff like that looks awesome. Actually, I was talking to a guy today, by the way. The big Paradise fires up there, in Northern California, because so much of that is burned. Like they're selling like super cheap ass land right now, and it's already burned. It's already burned. Like it's not gonna burn. It's already burned. Like, and people are like, Paradise, fuck that. I'm not touching Paradise. But like, I was talking to a real estate guy today. He's like, dude, fucking Paradise is the spot right now. That's like if you want to get out, because all the shit unfortunately burned.
No,
I'm not saying it's good at
in nature. All the sick shit comes out of the burned.
Yeah.
All the brand new fresh stuff comes out of the burned.
All the good mushrooms.
Yeah, that's right.
The fun guy.
Mushrooms, by the way, I'm really stoked to see mushrooms being implemented in therapy and people getting help from mushrooms, because people kind of like touted marijuana as this big cure-all drug, and it's fun, but it's not a cure-all drug. I think mushrooms is one that actually gets you in a psychological state that actually helps people, and I'm glad to see.
I don't think anything is a cure, really, dude.
I think they all can be beneficial in certain ways. Not the way I ever used them in the past, but definitely. Like I was looking at my brother does ayahuasca. He's like a shaman, and he takes people through ayahuasca healing. And I was gonna do that, but through meditation and cold plunging and all that shit, I've been able to get rid of all my depression and anxiety. So I'm like, I don't need to go there. I've found another way to do it. So
there might be a point in your life where you feel like, I can't achieve something with the cold plunging and all this stuff. Maybe I do need to seek some outside thing, and you might get to that down the road.
Definitely.
But right now, you found something that's working good, and that's actually one of the things that I was going to eventually bring up tonight. But we're already at almost 3.5 hours.
Jesus.
Mike, I want to have you back on and talk about the cold plunge and the health kick and all that stuff, dude. That's one thing that I thought we were going to get to tonight, but the way this show works,
dude, you got thrown the Nate wrench, dude.
I love the Nate wrench,
sugar wrench.
We'll always accept the Nate wrench, dude.
Nah, dude, I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked to see you, Nate. We gotta keep in contact more.
Absolutely,
most definitely, dude. That's kind of one of the fun things about this show is that we can be like, hey, dude, we're having this guy. He's from your past. Do you want to pop on? And then we'll get that situation going where we're just
it's fucking
bringing
awesome.
Homies back together from the past, and let's just shoot the shit together. Kind of how we would have hit each other at the Pound or the Thunderdome or any of these other places. We would have just came across and had this 4-way conversation. We're trying to recreate it, and I think we're doing a pretty good job, right?
Hell yeah, still going.
Hell yeah.
What was that?
Joel's like, yeah, he's been talking too much, dude.
After we show the picture, then he's all, dude, whatever, dude. I'm fucking over it. No, it's very cool. We get to make these connections, because usually Monday or Sunday night or Monday we're starting to talk about Thursday, and if we don't have
Nate yesterday, and I'm like, hey, dude.
Yeah, and sometimes we look at our lineup and we're like, oh shit, we need to figure lineup shit. We haven't done it for a while. Let's start talking to people, and then we'll get these cool. And then we're thinking about Mica. You're on. You got asked to come on. You came on, and I was like, oh, Mica, and then my brain was just all like going to like all these memories and all these different things that like, you know, I had kind of put in the, you know, I'm almost 40, like all the things are going like shooting back to me of like you at Aptos Club shooting pole and being maniac, you know. And there's a bunch of things that like came back to me of I was first starting out looking at you going like, damn dude, that guy's a singer of a gnarly band, dude. Holy shit. Like I was like nervous back then, like seeing you for the first time. I was like, and same like what Nate said, it was like same thing. I was like, damn, this guy's a fucking death metal guy, dude. Like this is a sketch. I gotta actually perform now. This sucks. I don't want to do any of this. That's my best Naveen impression. This sucks.
That's a pretty good.
We're doing this for ourselves too, dude. And to reignite those memories is kind of what these OG Cali Death Scene shows are about, is to try and remind ourselves like, yo, look at all the cool stuff we did and we crossed
fucking awesome times, man.
So many times during that, you know.
There's no iPhones. There's iPhones. The only iPhones are our voices right now. Like our voices are the iPhones of the memories that were caught now. Like no one had like fucking cameras in their pockets. Yeah. It was like it's all through our memories.
Our memory, and that was it, dude.
Yeah.
And we lost it because the hard drive has been full for quite some time. So we do these fucking things to try and reignite some shit, dude.
Dude, thank goodness there isn't footage of some of the you know, I don't want to see any of those things.
Our record release, I was blacked out to play the show. I blacked out. I don't remember the show at all, and I vomited on the front carpet or whatever of Aptos Club. I vomited. I put my bass down after the set and just started spraying vomit on.
Our show, Mica got drunk at it. I don't know if you remember this, Mica, because you were in maniac mode for sure.
But the Halloween?
It was I don't know, but it was a CD release show in Monterey.
Oh,
a no swearing place.
Oh, the church. Yeah, I was blacked out.
Man, blacked out at a church.
The promoter came up to us as we're on stage. I'm holding my guitar. You're holding the mic. We're about to start. And he went, all right, now remember, no swearing. We can't have any swearing. And I just remember you looking at him and nodding your head.
I had to sign a contract before we played that said you will not swear on stage.
And the very first thing you did, when you nodded at him, you turned around and went, "Are you fucking motherfuckers fucking ready to fuck it?" I was just like, "What?"
Oh yeah, right.
It's so good.
I think that was one of the few shows ever where I like forgot lyrics. I was blabbering nonsense on stage.
Yeah, I think I actually kicked you off the stage at one point.
Like we're going instrumental, the guys. That's it.
Yeah. There was like you were huddling by the PA, and I was like, "This is just an easy one." I gotta take advantage of that.
Dude, with all my drinking and all my antics, though, that was like very rare. I still was always able to.
Absolutely
perform. That was like a once in a fucking lifetime thing, but yeah,
I thought it was more funny than anything. Just the head nod straight to swearing right out.
So like, dude, I got it. Fucking, are you pieces of shit ready to fuck?
Oh yeah, it was multiple curse words.
What's going on, guys?
Just 2 seconds after he just agreed.
I remember we had to sign one of those contracts in like Pensacola, Florida, at like some sort of a youth place, and they're like, sign it. Like you're not allowed to hang out by your vans or anything like that. And we're like, cool. And then Bill was like sober, going like, okay. And there's a kid going like, fuck yeah. Bill was like, what was that? Just like, he's all, fuck yeah. Fuck. And the mic is all, it wasn't me, it was him. I don't know.
The loopholes.
Oh my god. But fuck yeah. That was speaking of fuck yeah. Mica, thanks for coming on, and Nate, thanks for fucking
so sick, dude.
Yeah.
I love all
Thanks for having us, man.
And dude, Mica, I know we were, we're giggling at those stories, but I truly want you to know that I'm very fucking proud and happy for you in that triumph that you had.
Yeah, it's cool to see you now like this. Yeah, it's awesome.
That it's an inspiration for a lot of different aspects of life to hear that kind of story, and for you to now be where you're at today with all the trials, tribulations, and rewards that you got from all of that, dude. I love it, dude. I love it, and I want to talk to you more, dude. I mean, we're here fucking 3.5 hours, and I don't feel like I'm done with you yet, So that's cool, dude. I'm glad that I feel that way. I'm glad that I hope that anybody who listens to that can hear the inspiration that I felt from hearing you, and what you've faced and overcome. You still are at a point where you can look back and say you've worked with musicians like Nate and all these other Keith and all the other dudes. Like your history is rich. That might be a reason why you still wanted to be here, and I'm glad you're still here with us, dude.
Me too, and thanks, man.
Hell yeah,
good stuff, man.
Just getting started, dude. Just getting started.
Yeah,
hell
dude,
yeah.
That's the fucking attitude I love to hear, brother.
No
doubt,
man.
dude. And
Good
I
stuff.
want to keep in touch with you because we got more stuff to talk about, even if it's just outside of this thing.
Definitely hit me up,
Keep
man.
in touch, dude. And Nate, dude, love you, brother. I think you might have just, I don't know. We need to look at stats. Nate may have just been like the most appearances.
Cali Death.
Him and Diego probably are like neck and neck right now.
Well, I have I think 4.
Now it's 5.
I think it's more than that. I think it's more than that. Is it only 4?
Because we got.
I had my own. Then I did
You?
one with Max.
Yeah.
And then I jumped on the anniversary one, and then there's this one. So this is 4.
Dude.
Damn, I don't want to. Yeah, I think it's smarter than us, and I don't want to contest him.
100%.
Yeah. He's analytical.
Right.
He's an analytical human being. I know he is. So I don't want to fuck with that.
Dude. Hey, Bolt, dude, you definitely are up at the top of the list of most appearances, dude, and there's a reason for it. We love you.
Nate's a badass,
man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, you guys are the shit. I still listen. I'm a listener too, so
Hell yeah, dude. No, that's all good. It doesn't matter if you're a listener, dude. You're a great talker. You got some cool stories, good perspective, and I love
you're like a fucking like a low key stand up comic too. By the way, you say shit to me that is fucking like
people ever, dude.
Yeah,
Literally,
I'm
in
just
my
saying.
friends group, he is funnier than most people that I'm around, dude. So
yeah,
well, thank you for that.
That was the funniest thing I ever fucking heard.
Dude.
all right.
No, like, seriously, you said things to me that I literally held on to and like thought about like months later. I'm like, oh, Nate. I'm like, oh, I think you're one of the funnier people I've ever met in my life.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's a treasure, dude. That's why we try and keep him in.
Life. Music, it's all part of it.
Yep.
Let's have fun with 2024. Let's make it a good year.
Let's do it,
Release
dude.
a bunch of good tunes. Laugh a bunch. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it's all about, dude.
love
guys.
everyone.
Yes, most definitely. Really quick, battleforgecoffee.com, generatorrehearsalstudios.com, and Ontage.
That's funny right there.
I'm tired of it. I quit.